What's up? What is up? What is up? Fight Hype Live. What's up, chat? What's up, boxing fans around the world? Got one for the hardcores tonight. A round by round for the hardcores exclusively. Mercito Gesta taking on undefeated William Zepeda in one of the deepest divisions in boxing tonight, live on DAZN. Shaman Sean Zattel holding it down. And we will even be joined by my wife tonight, I believe. My wife will even sit in on this round by round. We got my son to sleep early tonight. So it's co-main event time right now. Palomares against Victor Morales in this co-main event. They're in the 6th round right now. Oh, that's me talking. Hold on. Hold on, where's that coming from? Where is this coming from? We will even be joined by my wife tonight, I believe. My wife will even sit in. Well, hold on now. Hold on now, chat. It's co-main event time right now. My bad, chat. That's my phone. Your boy is still so unprepared for some of these things, but that's okay. All right, we're good to go now. But yeah, co-main event time between Victor Morales and Palomares, and just waiting for main event time to start between Mercito Gesta and William Zepeda. William Zepeda, some people high on this guy, think he's a real contender in this deep lightweight division. I'm not so sure about that just yet. But hold on, chat. I don't think Zepeda would be big issue for guys like Haney, and well, Haney's moved up now, but Shakur Stevenson, Lomachenko, these guys, I don't know about that. Let me see what I see from William Zepeda tonight. But meanwhile, Palomares and Morales having a war. They're actually in the 5th, not the 6th, excuse me. But let's say what's up to some people. Nathan says, salute Fight Hype. What's going on, man? Salute to you too. Boxing news, the Donkey Kong show and Judel TV are hoping for a Mercito Gesta upset, it would seem. Zepeda smoked Jojo Diaz Jr., says Josh Stotts. Indeed he did, but I think that Jojo kind of seeing better days these days. I don't think Jojo, since he lost to Haney in their WBC lightweight title fight, I haven't been as impressed. That's the last time Jojo impressed me, was in that performance against Devin. I know he had a good camp and he was ready and up for the task. Since that fight, I haven't been as impressed with Jojo Diaz. But still, it was a good win for Zepeda. Jojo, former Olympian, 2-division champion, I believe. Or no, 1-division champion. We won the IBF belt against Tevin Farmer. He lost for the WBC at 126. But both guys warming up in the dressing room. It should be a fun fight. You know, Mexican versus Filipino fighter is almost always fun. That was one of the best rivalries I grew up with Morales and Pacquiao, Marquez and Pacquiao. Gesta, I remember covering Gesta 8 years ago in Inglewood at the Forum in Los Angeles. He was fighting Jorge Linares on HBO. So Gesta's been around for a minute. I mean, HBO's long gone. He was fighting Linares when Linares was considered the lineal lightweight champion, the WBA lightweight champion. And I remember Gesta gave Linares a good fight. They didn't let go of his hands enough. Was a little too basic for Linares. But Gesta, like most Filipino fighters, is explosive. He is an explosive fighter, but raw. Not the most skilled guy in terms of cutting distance. Not a counterpuncher, really. But he might actually be a little bit more explosive and athletic than William Zepeda, who's definitely the favorite tonight, coming in undefeated against Gesta, who's been around a long time. Taking some losses in his career, so should be a fun fight. Zepeda should win this fight, but we'll see. You know, Gesta, maybe he's long in the tooth, but Gesta on his best night might be a touch more explosive athlete than Zepeda, so we'll see. D. Richardson asked, did Joe Joyce fight today? No, Joe Joyce fights on the September 23rd, a week from tonight, and we'll be doing a live round by round for that fight when it goes down. Molly Mall asks, and always good to see you, Molly Mall. Thank you for being in the chat. Carlos D. Santiago says, Shaggy, my brother. It's a little less shaggerific today. I did get a little hair trim in time for Canelo Charlo fight week in 2 weeks here in Vegas. I did get a little trim, but yo, Sean, will Fight Hype get a Max Kellerman interview? I hate not hearing Max's boxing takes lately. I would love to see Max Kellerman on Fight Hype. We've had him on the channel. I've interviewed Max for a decade. Plenty of interviews of me and Max on FightHype. Max is a good guy. I've always been happy to see the success he's got because as a kid, watching Around the Horn, when that show first launched in like 2002 on ESPN, I knew Max was a great talent. Even at 10, 11 years old, I could see that. And then he did great on HBO Boxing. He was a mastermind on Friday Night Fights in his 20s alongside Brian Kenny in the studio. He was incredible. And then one thing I like about Max Kellerman, man, he's always been humble in giving advice, in giving time for an interview or just talking. He's definitely imparted a lot of advice on me over the years. I haven't even listened to most of it. He told me to get a better haircut and to dress better, not because he thinks it's so important, but he explained to me the networks think it's important. You have to conform a little bit, he said. But yeah, Max is a good dude. I would love to have him on the channel. So Molly Mall, maybe I'll get on that. Maybe I'll get through the proper channels to get in touch with Max and get him on FightHype like we did Jim Lampley. Yeshua Savior. Did Frank Martin really fire Derek James, Sean? I don't know. That's all speculation. That's all internet rumors on Twitter. I don't know. I don't know how much Derek James has really added to Frank Martin's game. I think he's made him a little bit better defensively in how he holds his hands. Derek James is really known for that lead hand being carried up a little bit. Derek James teaches a good high guard. He doesn't teach head movement really, but he teaches a good high guard. But most of what Frank Martin does, he did before he got to Derek James. And then Derek James implemented some wrinkles in his game that allow him to have a dominant performance against Michel Rivera. He deserves credit for that. But I don't know. I don't know what the deal is over there with Frank Martin and Derek James. That's all Twitter speculation. So I don't want to pretend to know. We need an interview with Gary Antoine Russell and David Morrell. I thought it said Dave Moretti. I said that's a unique one. Gary Antoine Russell, Bud Cheddar, I interviewed him a couple weeks ago before his last fight. That's up on the channel from about a month ago. I interviewed Gary Antoine. And then David Morrell, we've interviewed David Morrell a number of times on FightHype, plenty of times. Been a couple months, but last time I interviewed him is when he was getting ready to co-headline the Ryan and Tank fight. Interviewed him at the MGM. So I really like David Morrell because, again, all the Cubans got here either too old or they were little or they were never able to learn English and promote themselves in English. David Morrell has none of those things working against him. He got here young. He's already speaking English well, and he's not small. He's not a lower weight class fighter like Guillermo Rigondeaux was, and he has an exciting style. He's not just a pure boxer that's hard style to sell to casual fans like Joel Casamayor, Erislandy Lara, Guillermo Rigondeaux. He's got everything it takes to be the first Cubano to really break through in the United States. So I definitely like David Morrell. Bud Chetta said, I seen those through the Mino Carnuto on us. No. Well, we need the follow-up interview, though. Who's next? Yeah, you're right. No, you're right, Bud Chetta. Well, I'll get on it. Everyone comes to the big fights like Canelo Charlo, so I'll be getting a lot of interviews 2 weeks from now. Fight week, Canelo Charlo, we'll be going crazy on FightHype with interviews. So, David Benavidez beats him, says Carlos D. Santiago. I think he would. I've always been super high on David Benavidez, but Morrell's a very dangerous fight, and it's a fight that should be built up because him and David 2-3 years from now could be a real pay-per-view fight that really draws in the Mexican and the Mexican-American, Cuban-American fans. I'm happy that PBC looks like they've decided not to make that fight too soon. In today's boxing, too many fights don't get made when they should get made, but this would be a little bit of a case of making it too soon. David Morrell hasn't even had 10 fights yet and could still potentially upset David Benavidez, even as green as he is, even though I'd favor Benavidez. But my Wi-Fi is tripping. Is my Wi-Fi tripping again? Let me see. What else is new? What else is new, chat? Oh, Lord. Cox Communications is the worst. I might have to restart this stream, chat. Hold on. Well, I'll keep rocking as far as I could go. Robezi Ramirez is going to be a Cuban superstar? Maybe, but I don't think so. No, I don't think so. He's got some of those things working against him that I talked about. Morrell doesn't. He's not really a crowd-pleasing style. He's a boxer who just loves to throw the straight left hand, change levels with it, and then, zap you with the straight left hand. Let me see. No, says BT. No to what, brother? Meaning starting the stream again. I'm assuming is what you're saying no to. Yeah, man. I don't know. Cox Communications, it should be all right by main event time if we could just make it there. So, because it's still just round 7 and 8 between Palomares and Victor Morales. So, we got some time. We got some time for this to work properly the way it should. What's up, Weedy Gonzalez? What's going on, Weedy? Yeshua Savior said, Sean, you make our weekend so much fun, brother. Thank you for the love. I appreciate it, Yeshua. How much do we got a super chat for you to get a fade? A lot, because I like having long hair. Let's see. It's bad. I think it might be clearing up now just a little bit. Maybe not. Let's see. Josh Stott says, I got Ramirez smoking everyone in the division. I don't think so. I liked Venado Lopez. By the way, ESPN was tripping trying to say that fight was really close. I love Mark Kriegel. Got all the respect in the world for Mark Kriegel. But he gave an awful scorecard. 115-113 Joet Gonzalez last night. That's just not what happened. Sean killed me about 7 times. I'm COD. But yeah, no, I ESPN was tripping last night. Venado Lopez clearly, Charles N. I like the longer hair too, brother. But I got to keep it somewhat professional with Canelo Fight Week coming up. But I'm with you. But yeah, ESPN was tripping last night. Venado Lopez won that fight easy. At the very least, 8 rounds he won. I thought he won 9 or 10. That guy is a unique fighter. Him and Emmanuel Navarrete are very unique. They're awkward. They're kind of got their own brand of athleticism. Venado more so than Navarrete. Venado's a little more athletic than Navarrete, but Navarrete's a little athletic too, even though he doesn't have a single ab on his stomach. And even though he doesn't look like an elite athlete, he's athletic and rangy, is Navarrete. And so is Venado Lopez. Athletic, rangy. They throw punches and bunches to where even if it looks so easy to counter them, you're thinking of playing catch and shoot or countering them in between their shots, but they just don't stop punching. They don't just they let out 4, 5, 6, 7 shots at a time from crazy angles up, not unorthodox angles you're used to. So Navarrete and Venado Lopez kind of similar in that they're unorthodox. They have underrated, deceptive athleticism and ranginess, and they punch from all angles, and they're pretty relentless. I think Navarrete's a little bit better than Venado Lopez, but I was impressed by Venado Lopez last night. He was doing some things like dropping both hands, bending his waist down, jabbing to the body, and then coming up with uppercuts and just doing very unique offense. So I thought he kind of dominated the fight last night with Joet Gonzalez. ESPN was tripping. Black Fisherman says, thoughts on Andy Cruz? He's good. I like that he was working on sitting down on the inside for his first fight with Bozienis, that he was working on things in the pros and not just trying to do what he did in the amateurs and the pros, being fast, going straight back and making guys fall short with their punches. You can't go straight back in the pros. And early on, his first fight against Juan Carlos Burgos, he was staying on the inside a lot, working on the things he needs to round his game out, to become complete. So obviously, Andy Cruz is going to be a factor in the lightweight division. He was one of the most special amateurs in amateur boxing in the last 20 years. So he's got some adjustments to make, because in terms of turning professional, he's kind of an old dog learning new tricks, because he's not turning pro at 19 or 20. He's in his mid to late 20s. So, but he'll definitely be a factor in the division. He's not just going to bust, But that transition takes time. Look at Robezi Ramirez. He lost his pro debut. But then Ishmael Salas made the adjustments to transition him to the pro game, and now he's good to go. So yeah, I like Andy Cruz. Team Batman Boxing said I had Venado Lopez winning easily too. Josh Stott says that was probably Joette's last chance at becoming champion. I don't know about that. I thought so too, but they clearly ESPN Top Rank loves Joette Gonzalez. They continue to give him shots that other fighters probably deserved ahead of him. And then last night they went to bat for him, trying to gaslight the Hall of Famer Tim Bradley, trying to convince him he was wrong and he was crazy. That he was seeing things. But looks like my internet did clear up a little bit. I don't want to mess with the OBS too much because then I start glitching. But it looks like we're good. I think we're good now. Black Ray Donovan said, Sean, do you mind following me back on Twitter? I'm Godfather4. And thank Al Heyman. I don't want to bootlick, as they say. I don't want to thank you, Bob Arum. Thank you, Eddie Hearn. Thank you, Al Heyman. They don't need my thanks. Their thanks comes from the wallets of the fans. That's the thanks that matters that they get. So, but Al Heyman has definitely deserves whatever he likes to be called of the year. He doesn't like to be called promoter, advisor, manager, whatever. But he should be the man of the year when it comes to power brokers, when it comes to businessmen in boxing. He's had a superb year. So I am liking Naoya Inoue. He needs to fight someone who matters, though, says Lou. He's already fought a lot of guys that matter. He's cleared out multiple divisions. He's already a Hall of Famer. I like the Venado Lopez fight. I like the Robesi Ramirez fights. I think he beats those guys. Those are solid fights, though, that he deserves credit for if he could get by them. I think Inoue's real test coming up is 130 with Navarrete. I think up until that point, 130 with Navarrete, he's going to handle these guys. Even Venado. Venado is an interesting fight. Robesi's an interesting fight. It's intriguing, but you would expect Inoue to win against both fighters. Navarrete's the fight where Navarrete, before what he showed me against Valdez, I'd have picked Inoue with no hesitation. I still favor Inoue, but after what I saw against Valdez, where Navarrete showed me more wrinkles to his game, showed me how rangy he could be, as with that tall frame and those long arms in the lower weight classes, and then he's punching very hard and from all angles. I think Navarrete is a tough fight for Inoue. I think up until we get to 130. Inoue's going to be walking through guys, more or less. Venado and Robesi might give him some resistance, might give him some issues, but I think he'll beat both of them. And I give him the edge to beat Navarrete too, but that's a real fight. That's the next real challenge for Inoue, I think. I think he'll take care of Tapales. I think he'll take care of Venado or Robesi at 26. But I think things get tricky at 30 against Navarrete. Based on Navarrete showing us how rangy he was against Oscar Valdez. So that would be a hell of a fight. Let's see. Shaggy, my brother, who won? Zepeda or Gesta? Not there yet. Hasn't been main event time just yet. Boss Man said, bruh, you guys watching the wrong fights. Noche UFC is where it's at. I don't watch UFC, man. I don't watch UFC, but God bless everyone tuning in. Who's fighting on UFC tonight? Maybe I know about 5 or 6 UFC fighters. Who's fighting on UFC tonight, chat? What are your thoughts on these super fights in Saudi Arabia? Ms. Joette asks, Sean, is the main event next? Main event is next. We're in the 9th round of the co-main event, so we're almost at main event time, and I think my wife's going to join me for the fight. But Lou, and shout out to you, Lou, always in the chat. I see you, brother. Lou says, what are your thoughts about these super fights in Saudi Arabia? I think it's definitely what you call sports washing. I'm not an ignorant American to the point. I realize all the terrible things the United States has done. We've done a lot of good things, too, that a lot of people around the world have loved and other governments have tried to pull from, but then the United States tends to just, put in figureheads and governments that are going to acquiesce to the West. But anyways, I say all that to say Saudi Arabia sports washing. I had to go through the preamble of acknowledging the hypocrisy of my own country, which I do love. But yeah, Saudi Arabia sports washing, and they have such deep money from the oil money that even though they may lose money on some of these big fights, it's like, who cares? They have limitless pockets. But maybe despite their deep pockets, they don't like losing money, and that's why things have slowed down over there. They were getting a lot of fights. I also think Daniel Kinahan had something to do with that. He's still at large in Qatar and in Dubai, Qatar, that whole area near the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. It's obvious that those countries have aligned somewhere in the background with the West, unlike those other Middle Eastern countries like Pakistan and Afghanistan, Iraq and Iran, which are still vehemently opposed to the West and Israel and the United States. And clearly we've cut out some deal with those other countries like Saudi, Qatar, and Dubai, because even when, like last year during football season, you see the NFL promoting Qatar. It's like, okay, the big wigs of these governments have obviously made money. So I don't like fights going over to Saudi Arabia. I'm not a fan of the sports washing. But beyond that, it's a failure on boxing in the United States. We're allowing the interest in the sport in terms of revenue to dwindle to such a niche market that fighters and promoters feel like they can make more money getting sports washing in Saudi Arabia. That's an ugly moral issue in and of itself, but it's also an indictment on boxing in America and in Europe and in the United Kingdom, because the United Kingdom's losing fights to Saudi just like the United States is losing fights. It's an indictment on both boxing communities that from the top down, from the promoters to the fighters to guys like me that cover the sport, we've allowed our sport to dwindle so much into a niche that they got to go to a country that's willing to give blood money to get guys paid. That's an indictment on boxing from the top down a little bit. And the kind of the last people I hold accountable for taking that blood money is the fighters themselves. I don't really hold them accountable for it. They got a family to feed and they risk their lives anyways. It's everybody else involved that is kind of deserves apprehension about it. So that's my thoughts on it. And it was always funny money over there in the 2000s, 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008. You would hear this fight. Manny Pacquiao got offered a shitload of money to fight, and it never happened. It was always funny money. Then all of a sudden, Joshua and Ruiz happened, and they started actually getting real fights over there. Zerto and Bivol, and a couple of Joshua fights. So that's what happened. So that's where we're at. Lou, thank you for the super chat. Lou gave me $10 saying thank you for the honesty and truth. Thank you, man. I do it where I can. Thank you. Charles N said it's atrocious. Someone said you now look like an Edgar or Bieber. Got it. WWE getting $50 million plus to put on 2 shows a year, says Chichi Torres. Yeah, they are. They don't care. It's all about the money. I get it. But WWE, just like I said about boxing. By the way, co-main event on DAZN just wrapped up, so we're just about, in the next 10-15 minutes, we should be getting started with Mercito Gesta versus William Zepeda. But Chichi Torres talking about how WWE gets $50 million plus to put on those shows. It's an indictment on WWE, just like it's an indictment on boxing. Your product sucks so much, WWE now, compared to what it was in its heyday, that you got to go over there to get money. You got to go public with the stock. I mean, they did that at the peak of their powers in the Attitude Era. I get it. But that's not the energy that made Vince McMahon in the WWF. The energy is old school American greatness. Like, fuck you, I'm going to compete. I'm going to compete in the capitalistic market. I'm going to do things my way. We're going to do it with my way and my vision. We're not going to acquiesce to this and to that. And that's kind of what WWE has done now. They became politically correct in the early 2000s. Ratings went, and now they still keep afloat. It's like they still keep afloat, but The product isn't what it once was. The ratings aren't what they once were. It doesn't have the cultural relevancy it once has. So it's dwindled in influence and in prestige. Even though it's still a big deal, it'll always be a big deal because it was built by entertainment giants. But it rescinds so small. You gotta go.
What are you talking about, brother? What are you talking about?
She's
WWE is still going on.
Okay, brother. You gotta. Yeah, but yeah, you get where I'm going at that. Sean, the best show you have. Keep it up. Thank you, Edwin Ola. Appreciate it. Chichi Torres, all about the bread indeed. Why are people sleeping on William Zepeda, says El Patron Game Farm? Because he's in a deep division filled with technical killers. Guys that are pinpoint accuracy, fast hands, reflexes, defense. I don't know if he has any of that, what I just said. I don't know if he really has fast hands, pinpoint punches, great defense, and hand speed. There's a half dozen guys in this division who do all that. If he was in a weaker division, he might have next. But based on what I see, I mean, I like Willie Zepeda. He's a fun fighter, but best case scenario is he's like a Venado. He's like a Navarrete. He's not the technically perfect fighter, but he's overwhelming with his pace. He punches hard, and he makes his awkwardness work for him. But yeah, he doesn't have next in this division. He's a good fighter, William Zepeda, a fun television fighter, but I just don't think I'm more impressed with kids on the rise like Abdullah Mason and Keyshawn Davis than him, you know, even though he has more fights than them. So we'll see. AA said, wake up from the ignorance. Boxing just shouldn't be a United States or a United Kingdom sport. It's a universal sport and can be hosted anywhere on the planet. I agree, AA. I agree. But, you know, I agree. It's great what Japan does. It's great. But these are spontaneous boxing hotbeds with fan bases that want to show up en masse. That's not really the case with Qatar and Saudi. These are rich princes with deep pockets from oil who don't care, who don't need to turn a profit. And once you're operating on a business model that doesn't need to turn a profit, it's not a real organic business model. It's a fugazi. It's an abomination a little bit. because when your ass is really on the line, when you have to make a profit, that's what's going to produce the best results, the best product. So, you know, maybe I'm sounding a little ethnocentric with that. That's fine. You don't have to agree with my stance on this. That's why we get to have a back and forth on these topics, chat. But yeah, I'm fine with boxing being a global sport. That's part of what makes boxing the best sport in the world, better than the NFL, better than the NBA. Our athletes come from everywhere around the world, big and small, of all different types of styles and backgrounds and all that. But when you're getting big fights in Japan or the United Kingdom or the United States or Mexico or Puerto Rico or Germany, it's spontaneous, organic fan bases supporting fighters. It's not this sports washing phenomenon. So it's a different. It's comparing apples to oranges a little bit, in my opinion. You know, those places I named, Japan with Inoue, Australia with Tim Tszyu, they can put on those shows not because they have deep pockets and don't have to worry about whether their show will turn a profit or not. They can run those shows because they have deep, spontaneous grassroots fan bases that'll show up and help it the thing turn a profit. So, you know, it's different. The math. Lou says the math doesn't make sense. You are not selling what you are paying. What casual fan has money to fly to Saudi? Right. Psycho Faya says, from what you said, that sounds like you're sleeping on Zepeda. Maybe I am a little bit. Maybe I'm being a little harsh on Zepeda. I'm prepared to give it. Let me judge him tonight. Let me get a fresh look at him tonight, and let's see what we got. I'll tell you if he's a guy that I think is top 5, top 10 in the lightweight division. I'll tell you if I think he could beat a Frank Martin or beyond a Frank Martin, a Shakur Stevenson, Lomachenko, these guys. We'll see Tank Davis. We'll see. I haven't seen a lot of defense from William Zepeda. Not a lot of hand speed from William Zepeda. And he's an accumulation puncher, not a one-punch knockout artist. So we'll see. We'll see what we get from him tonight. Emilio Beltran said, Gesta is athletic and skilled enough to win tonight. Perhaps, but he's been a loser at this stage. I guess I'm not holding back punches with this, but he's a guy that finds a way to lose in these big opportunities. So he's got to do the opposite of that. He's in his 30s. Zepeda's undefeated and fresh. He's not supposed to win this fight tonight, but Zepeda is there to be found. He's right in front of you. And Gesta, I said it at the beginning of the live, I do think he's more athletic than William Zepeda. Most Filipino fighters are. So he does have that trademark Filipino explosiveness, those calves that he has, and he can explode out of that with some good explosiveness, but we'll see. Lou said, I am not sure what Tank is thinking. He is getting a bit old to fight bums. He needs to step it up. And by bum, I mean Garcia, meaning Ryan Garcia. Well, I wouldn't take it that far. I think Tank has fought solid opposition. Truly. But he's almost 30. He turns 29 in November. And I just said he's fought solid opposition. Whoop-de-doo. I mean, that's cool. That's good. I don't like people going the opposite direction and embellishing. This guy only fights bums. No, he's fought some legitimate fighters and beaten them handily, almost all of them by knockout. Deserves credit for that. He is an elite fighter in his own right. Tank Davis, top 10 pound-for-pound guy. Bottom half, but top 10 pound-for-pound guy. But turns 29 in 2 months, and it's like, Devin's gone. I don't think Devin's coming back to lightweight. That ship officially sailed. I know my man Leonard Ellerby and Tank, they don't care about that apparently, but that's gone. That like the chance to become undisputed lightweight champion has come and went. Those belts are going to get vacated slowly, one by one. Shakur's going to fight for a vacant WBC soon, and Tank already got elevated to full WBA champ, or he's about to be. I have to read the article again. So, but I know you don't care about legacy the way you care about getting paid, but that ship sailed. You'll never get to knock out Devin Haney to become undisputed lightweight champion. That ship just sailed, and Tank can convince himself all he wants. It's just about the money. But I guarantee you, if it's 10 years from now and he never beat great fighters and winds up fighting them later in his career and loses to them, it will bother him deep down inside. It'll bother him because 90 to 95% of us, regardless of what we say, care what people think and say. And so if he's always got to hear from a majority of people, you ducked the best, you didn't, blah, 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 blah. And it's true. It's not even like a case like Floyd Mayweather where most people say that, but on BoxRec at the end of the day in black and white, he fought most of the great fighters of his time and beat them. So, he could go to sleep knowing that, even if sometimes they were too young, sometimes they were a little old, sometimes this and that, X, Y, and Z. But for Tank, he's not even on that trajectory. He's not even on some, you beat him too old. He's just not beating them. He's just not fighting Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez. He fought the weakest link out of all of them, Ryan Garcia, and knocked him out. Good win, solid win, not a great win because Ryan's not a great fighter, great talent. But when Tank knocked him out, it's a glorified prospect, with very fast hands and a great dangerous left hook, but tall, but was kind of weight drained and inexperienced, and Tank did what he was supposed to do. So Tank still needs those legacy career defining wins. He has good wins. He has solid wins. He has not been fighting bums. He's beat some solid to good fighters and had some really good performances, but yeah. What's up, Three Pumps? Tank versus Martin is supposedly in the works. Should be a decent fight. That's a very decent fight. That's a good fight. But it would be another solid win. It can't qualify as a career definer. It can't qualify as great fighters have career definers. El Terrible Morales beat Barrera, beat Pacquiao. Those are career definers. Pacquiao beating, Cotto and De La Hoya, Barrera and Marquez. Those are true career-defining wins. Let's equate them in boxing to Super Bowl rings, right? Let's say every time you really beat a killer in in a big fight, that's like a Super Bowl ring. So Tank has yet to have a Super Bowl ring. He's had some nice playoff wins. He's put up some good numbers in the regular season. But if he were to retire right now, no Super Bowl ring, in my opinion. Devin Haney has a Super Bowl ring. Even though George Kambosos isn't really an elite fighter, he was a lightweight champion. You can't take that away from him. But either you beat a great fighter and that's a Super Bowl ring, or you become undisputed, or you become the unquestioned man of a division. That's the equivalent to a Super Bowl ring. However many times you've been the man in the division, counted as a Super Bowl ring. Or if you beat a killer in his prime, that's a Super Bowl ring. Devin Haney has a Super Bowl ring. You could argue this is a debate. You could argue when Shakur beat Oscar Valdez to unify, win 2 belts, they were considered number 1 and number 2. He won the ring. You could consider that a Super Bowl ring for Shakur, even though I think overall Tank has beaten more good solid fighters than Shakur has, but he never unified. He never has been considered the man. Or like who was that? Bobby Heenan used to say about Goldberg, the man. He hasn't been the man of a division. He hasn't unified. So we'll see. Stay hydrated, says Charles N. I will. Thank you, brother. Stay hydrated. Tank should look to fight Pitbull in the rematch, says Edwin Ula. I think I have a feeling that's ultimately where they'll settle instead of Frank Martin. Just because common sense. Like, Cruz is a probably less difficult fight than Frank Martin and more sellable because, Mexican fans love boxing. They'll buy the pay-per-view to support Cruz. So I think the Cruz fight is more likely than Martin. I'd rather see the Frank Martin fight. I saw them spar back in 2020. It was good work. It was competitive. And I'd like to see them fight. I'd favor Tank, but I'd like to see that fight. That's a good fight. That's a test for Gervonta. Frank Martin could test him in ways other fighters haven't. He's very skilled. He's a little bit longer than Tank. Very fast. Punches hard. It'd be a very... I think that's the best fight for Tank to make on the PBC side. Because we all know the best fights for him are Tank or Devin and Shakur, or if he's willing to go to 140, T.O. as well. But those fights aren't going to happen until Devin or Shakur feel like acquiescing and going to PBC. Basically, it's the Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence situation all over again. Because Tank, like Errol Spence, is the bigger draw, and he's a much bigger draw than Errol Spence in his own right. Tank Davis, and the way PBC holds firms on these types of things, you probably don't get to see Tank fight Devin or Shakur until Devin or Shakur signs with PBC. I don't like that. It's supposed to be a sport. It's supposed to be about who's the best in each division, and that dictates the matchups and not who you sign with and who you're not signed with. But that's probably the writing that's on the wall. If Tank keeps winning because he makes so much fucking money at the box office, those guys it's going to be like Terrence. It doesn't matter how good you are, how great you are, how long you stay undefeated. It doesn't matter that you're undisputed. PBC, to their credit, built the bigger box office draw. So you're probably going to have to go their way to get him in the ring. So that's where that's the writing on the wall right now. Maybe something else can happen. Maybe Haney or Stevenson can get themselves to a level of Wilder Fury where they can stay with ESPN or Top. I mean, Devin's not with them right now, but Shakur is. They can stay on their side and have a joint promotion, but joint promotions only happen when there is a shit ton of money in the pot. And so that's where we're at. It sucks, but that's where we're at. That's where the UFC wins, says Lou. Typically, but they couldn't make the John Jones Francis Ngannou fight, so they're running into a dead end at that stuff. UFC is only going to get away with their business model for so much longer. It is what it is. Credit to Dana White, cutthroat, hell of a businessman. But at some point, the dam will break. There's only so long fans, media, and fighters can be upset. Eventually, they'll get something out of it. So we'll see. Martin not ready for Tank. Let's be real, says Riddler. Right, but at almost 30 years old, if he's not ready for Tank, he'll never be ready for Tank. You know, he's already fought some contenders like Rivera. Hardatunian was solid. I don't know if he's really a top 10 contender, but he's solid. I think he's pretty much is what he is. Yes, he could get better. Yes, experience can only help him. But, just make it. If he's going to win, he's going to win. If he's going to lose, he's going to lose. Francis wanted the bag. Yeah, Francis Ngannou wanted to make money. And that eventually, these fighters are going to keep saying, you paid Ronda Rousey and Conor McGregor, pay me. And if not, I'll go somewhere else. I'll box. I'll go to PFL. I'll do some other shit. I don't know. Chichi Torres said, Sean, you hit the nail on the head. As long as Shakur's with Top Rank, it's hard to picture him in the ring with Tank. Extremely hard to picture him. And he's with Jay Prince. Al Heyman and Jay Prince don't do business together. Chat, maybe you could help me on this. When's the last time a Jay Prince fighter fought an Al Heyman fighter? They go way back. That's like animosity that dates back to Floyd Mayweather getting out of his contract in 2006. That goes back. Why do you think Andre Ward didn't get to face Adonis Stevenson at light heavyweight? Yeah. And Shakur's like Terrence, who he, of course, is close with, like this with. They're stubborn. They're stubborn. They're the kind of men, and I respect this about them wholly, they're the kind of men that, even if the writing's on the wall, and it makes business sense, because after a while it became clear this was the case with Terrence Crawford. The writing's on the wall. It made business sense to go with PBC, right? But they're the type of men that this is part of what makes them great fighters. They don't like to feel strong-armed and forced into situations. So Terrence was stubborn. He dragged his feet, and Terrence held his dick and delay and put Al Heyman and Errol Spence on hold. He after they put him on hold for years, he goes, no, now you stay on hold. I'm gonna fight Avanesian. Errol, you wait right there, and we'll fight when I'm done, because I'm gonna get this payday and I'm gonna get this money. Oh, and before I even agree to fight you, I'm gonna do everything I can to try to get you to accept this big bag of money I'm getting from some mysterious place. Terrence did everything he could to stand up to PBC and Al Heyman. Shakur kind of strikes me as being a similar way, that he'll drag his feet even when it makes all the business sense in the world. Bro, just, I know you may not want to, but just sign with Al Heyman and PBC, because you'll actually get the Tank fight, and you're never going to get it with the people you're with. That they, the guys like that feel like now you're being dictated to. Now, what do you mean? I'll sign with who I want to sign with. I'll fight who I want to fight. And inevitably, like Terrence, if they do want that fight, they'll probably have to break. They'll have to compromise. They'll have to break. They'll have to sign the deal and fight on PBC. That is where we're headed with Tank and Shakur. But don't be surprised if it drags out. It drags out. Because Shakur's like Terrence. He's stubborn. He doesn't like feeling strong arm dictated to, so we'll see. But me personally, I just want to see the fight. I don't care if it happens on PBC or ESPN. I acknowledge the reality of the situation, that because Tank is the big money guy, he's the A side, he's going to dictate terms, so it is what it is. You got to go over there to make it happen, do what you got to do. And I believe Shakur's still got a year or two left with Top Rank. Do what you got to do. Keep winning fights. Keep looking good. But you know what you got to do inevitably, whether you want to or not, to get the Tank fight, which is your, like Mayweather and Gotti were for Floyd Mayweather. That's the fight that hangs in the balance, that holds the keys to what you want: stardom, the recognition. So we'll see. Meanwhile, the zone continues to just kill time. I am just waiting for main event time. Chat. I like Martin's body work, says 3. I like it too. I like a lot about Frank Martin. He checks a lot of boxes. He can box. He's fast. He can punch hard. He can move around the ring. He's got legs. His biggest problem is he started at 18. And there's things in terms of instincts and anticipation that he lacks compared to Devin Haney or Shakur Stevenson, guys who started at 7 or 8 years old. Instincts and anticipation. It's not that he's not as fast as them. He is. He's fast, just like Haney and Stevenson are. It's not that he's not as athletically gifted as them. He is. It's he lacks their instincts and anticipation, and doesn't quite have as deep as a bag as those two do. He has a very deep bag of skills, a deep arsenal for starting as late as he did. He's not one of these guys who started late and is getting by on athletic gifts. He has athletic gifts, but he could really fight. He's a smart, skilled fighter, but he'll never have the anticipation and instincts that Haney and Stevenson had. They got 10 years of experience on them, starting when they were kids. Dane Sampson said, isn't De Los Santos a PBC fighter also? Wouldn't Stevenson and his team still have to make a deal through PBC with De Los Santos? I believe De Los Santos is PBC, but I think he's Sampson. He's a Samson Lukowicz fighter. I mean, they're all in association with each other. Sampson, the Cubas, Heyman, TGB, Showtime. It's all one family, pretty much. But then you get some weird situations. Like Jaron Ennis is technically not a PBC fighter. He is with Cameron Duncan. He's not with Al Heyman, but he's a Showtime fighter. So, whereas Frank Martin's an Al Heyman fighter. He signed with Errol Spence, who is with Al Heyman, and his promotional umbrella is under the Heyman umbrella. Frank Martin is a solidified Al Heyman fighter. De Los Santos, I'm not as sure about that. He fights on PBC cards. He fights on Showtime, but he could be like Jaron Ennis, a guy signed with someone else not named Heyman that fights on Showtime. You know, so I'm not exactly sure about that. But even if he is signed with Heyman, he's not considered the asset that Martin is. Martin is undefeated. De Los Santos is not. So Martin is considered probably a more prized asset than De Los Santos. De Los Santos, you're a little bit more willing to discard and feed to Shakur, you know. So Tay-Day, what's up, Tay-Day? Good to see my man Tay-Day in the chat, as always. Tay-Day says, Shakur been talking crazy about Frank Martin. I seen some headlines. I didn't watch the video. Basically, I guess he was calling him all kinds of bitches and this and that. Talking about how he ducked him and everything. It is what it is. It is what it is. Frank Martin's no bitch. None of these fighters are. So I wouldn't echo Shakur's sentiments, but he has a right to be frustrated. I'm frustrated for him. I was looking forward to Shakur and Frank Martin, and then it was like, oh, that's too good to be true. Don't I know better than that? I cover boxing. I'm not just a fan. Why did I really think that fight was gonna happen? Silly me. But I was looking forward to that fight. But Shakur has a right to be frustrated. And maybe that's making him lash out and call these other grown men things he normally wouldn't call them. Devin Haney and his father a bitch, and Frank Martin a bitch. I don't think these are things he'd be saying about them if he felt like he was getting the fights and the opportunities he wanted. But the walls are starting to close in on him. You know, Haney's left the division. He accomplished what he set out to do there. Now he's fighting on Matchroom for a fight. Tank's on the other side of the street. Teofimo Lopez isn't in the division. Ryan Garcia's not in the division. So he's the one guy in the division he thought he was going to have a showdown with pulls out of the fight. So he's frustrated and he's lashing out a little bit. And totally I think everyone understands where he's coming from. Some people don't. Some people feel like he's a boy crying wolf. He's just barking. He's making it seem like he's the boogeyman that wants to fight everybody, but it's cap, as the kids say. I don't think so. I believe him. I believe he wants to fight everybody, but we'll see. We'll see what's next. He'll definitely handle De Los Santos. De Los Santos will get counterpunched to death. Shakur will put on a clinic in shooting in between his punches. De Los Santos has legs. He has power. And he has a good straight left hand. He's a little more rangy. He's not just some slugger with a high knockout percentage. But there's levels to this. And his level of technique is not on the level of Shakur Stevenson. His defense isn't on the level of Shakur Stevenson. I think Shakur will have a beautiful time counterpunching him. But De Los Santos is a good fighter, a good lightweight. He's dangerous, peligroso in his own right. But Shakur isn't just merely some dangerous fighter. You know, he's an elite, one of the best fighters in the world he's rounding into. So he'll handle De Los Santos. Let me see. Does Crawford versus Canelo make more money than Canelo versus Benavidez, in your opinion, Sean? Samantha, what do you think? Do you think? Go ahead, Sam. Let's bring you the chair from the other room. Remember, we have the chair in the other room.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just bring it up here so you can sit with us.
I didn't wanna...
Let's ask. Let's ask the common woman.
The common woman.
Not the common man. Let's ask the common woman what she thinks. And my man Joe is finally getting ready. All right, we're about to have ring walk time, but we'll ask. Samantha is Mexican, full disclosure. First language Spanish. And she has a Canelo sweater on, so I figure it's a fair question. Okay, let's ask Samantha. Let's ask our color commentator, our fellow expert tonight on the mic, Samantha. Which fight do you think is a bigger fight money wise? Seriously, Canelo Crawford or Canelo versus David Benavidez?
Oh, Canelo Crawford, money wise.
Canelo Crawford.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think the sheer volume of Mexicans and Mexican Americans are gonna just blow that thing out and just make it a mega pay-per-view, or?
For some reason, I feel like Benavidez isn't over with the Mexican crowd.
To use
yet.
a wrestling term, he's not over.
Yeah.
No, not yet. Well, they don't. Well, he's half Mexican and he's born in America. He's
he
half.
doesn't play that card enough.
He does.
He does.
He's the Mexican monster.
That's true.
What? He's not the Ecuadorian monster.
I guess he doesn't do a good enough job. I forget.
You're right. No, you're right. Triple G pandered better than him.
Yeah.
Triple G pandered better than him.
Yes, he did. Maybe it's just Sim, though. I don't know. I think they think he's kind of boring, but he's not.
Benavidez is like one of the most exciting styles in boxing. Canelo Crawford's a bigger fight if they promote it. If Terrence Crawford goes on First Take with Stephen A., if he goes on Club Shake, if Terrence does his part,
he would
to promote it to America.
I think he would. I think he'd be excited.
He did for Spence.
Yeah, I think he'd be
Terrence
excited.
Terrence has to do his media rounds. He has to do the $1 million a game. He has to do FightHype with Sean.
Yeah.
He has to do.
Especially if it's done sooner than later too.
He has to do. Ms. Joette said your wife is beautiful, Sean. Thank you, Ms. Joette. Thank you. Pregnant too. Pregnant, got that pregnant glow. But yeah, I think what was I saying? Yeah, if Terrence does the Stephen A. Smith, does First Take, does $1 million a game, does all the big, does Joe Rogan, does FightHype with Sean, most importantly, above all else, or else that pay-per-view will not succeed.
No.
There's no way possible. Then yeah, I do think you're right. Crawford and Canelo would be the bigger fight.
But if you ask me what I want to see, Benavidez.
Right. Chichi Torres said Samantha breaking kayfabe, calling Benavidez Ecuadorian. Well, she's full Mexican. She got that nose in the air about David Benavidez. He's not good enough for the real Mexicans and all that other bullshit. No, I'm just kidding.
He's a real Mexican.
He is a real Mexican.
Yeah, has a picture of my son. It's adorable.
Yeah, he's a real Mexican. Let's see. Giovanni Quintero says, bruh, where did she come from? The poor woman was sitting on the floor, and I thought she was doing that because she wanted to. And then I realized there's no chance. Like, babe.
No, I was sitting down. I was sitting down there because I wanted to.
She's working on getting us a home loan. So, all right, Mexican anthem. Let's hear this for a second. Mexicanos la grito de tierra. Something, something del cañón. Al sano rugir del cañón.
Sean's Mexican.
Okay, we're done. We are not going to get copyright off the Mexican anthem.
Yeah, exactly.
What happened? Don't the fight. Daniel V, we are just waiting for main event time to happen. DAZN is building this up like it is De La Hoya Mayweather. They are taking an HBO pay-per-view like 1 hour wait time before the main event. I don't know why. What's the wife's maiden name? Says Sanchez. Like Salvador Sanchez. I love the last name. So she didn't get to keep it. She's just Samantha Zittel now. But my son got to keep it. My son is Zittel Sanchez. That was my call too. I was like, we're keeping the Sanchez.
It was.
Because of the great Salvador Sanchez.
You wore a Salvador Sanchez shirt the day he was born.
The day my son was born, I wore a Salvador Sanchez shirt. We were repping that Sanchez. Her father only had girls. And then her father's brother our Tío Alfredo, he had a son who only had girls, so the Sanchez name was to die.
It's done.
And I said, no, that won't happen.
It is done. Oh, yeah.
Also, scholarships.
Most of them.
Also, it's kind of easier to get a scholarship if you're mixed. So, so we wanted to play that up when necessary, to be quite honest.
Always thinking about the future, Sean.
Yeah, always. The zone needs to step up. They do need to step up. I've seen there it is, 7.5 C7 BF C67 ACF.
Finally.
There it is, the mark, the zone logo, the watermark, the DAZN watermark.
That's how you know it's real.
Why? Let me see.
Why are you?
Went Puerto Rican with the 2 last name. Absolutely. Absolutely. We did. What is your prediction on the fight? Says Jaime Daquipo. I have Zepeda winning this fight. Yeah. The Gesta's in his 30s. He's not here to win. He's not. I mean, he's there to win, I think, but that's not what he's been brought here to do.
How many anthems is she singing?
Jesus.
She's singing it, though.
She's singing it.
Yeah.
She is. The
She
sister
feels
is
it.
singing.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. I want to watch boxing. Like
I came
I'm
up here
just.
thinking it would be up soon.
We want to watch boxing. We watched the Venado Lopez fight last night. He was unorthodox, right?
Yeah, that was fun. Where is this fight at?
This fight,
What casino is that?
I don't know. I think somewhere in California. All right. William Zepeda, 2-inch height advantage, 2-inch reach advantage. Mercito Gesta, 35. You actually, I don't know. I can't remember. Samantha was with me when Jorge Linares defended his title at the Forum. He did it twice in a row. He fought Lou Campbell and Mercito Gesta at the Forum.
Mm-hmm.
You were at one of them. Do you remember which one?
I don't remember.
Remember we saw him, sorry Jorge, we saw him with some girl, not his wife, down at the tent later that night doing his, doing his thug thizzle. Oh, damn, I'm breaking guy code. So, I'm sorry.
Anyways, I don't remember.
Look, she's quicker to not break guy code. Anyways, back, but not doing Jorge like that. Commerce, California. Yeah, California. Thank you, guys. Commerce Casino in California. Thank you, chat.
No girls allowed. I knew that.
Night, you watch.
I might not say anything though because I
No,
it's
no.
the Sean show.
It is the Sean show, but we are definitely getting you some. We're getting you some shine too. We are gonna go to Samantha with color commentary from time to time. We're doing it. We're doing it. Henry J said your wife is fine. I'll take things that I'm happy to hear about her over the internet as opposed to in person for 500, Alex.
For 500.
Yeah, I like it. It makes me smile, with some random faceless person. Thank you, sir. No, thank you, but obviously in person it had me tight.
Me too.
Tay Day said, "Must be nice to have a partner to talk boxing with. All the women I attract, hate any type of sport. Yeah, it's tough, man. I got lucky.
Sean's a good teacher of every sport, though.
That's true. It's true.
So made it easy to watch.
I did. I mean, yeah. The first fight I had her watch with me was Shane Mosley against Antonio Margarito.
That's easy to get into.
Yeah, the first fight she liked was Sergio Martinez versus Paul Williams. I had to go to work. It was Thanksgiving night. Not Thanksgiving. It was Thanksgiving weekend, and it was boxing after dark. Williams and Martinez, they dropped each other in the first round. And I'm like, fuck, this is gonna be a great fight. I gotta go to work. She's like, I'll watch it for you. She calls me at work. This is a great fight. Oh my! I could hear she got the bug. Like that. It clicked with now she likes boxing.
Mm-hmm.
I always question. Is it because Sergio Maravilla Martinez was, good-looking guy? Well, sometimes on East Side boxing forums they call him Sexy Sergio.
I was excited because I was like, I think I got it. I think I know what I'm watching.
I think I like this now.
Yeah.
And she loved the fight.
And you gave me a responsibility.
Yeah.
You're walking in now.
Yeah, I know. Mercito Gesta is in the ring, got the Filipino headband on. My man Marvin Samodia, the co-trainer of Freddie Roach, is the head trainer. Shout out to my man Marvin, who worked alongside the great Manny Pacquiao for many years. Mercito Gesta in the ring. He's been in the Southern California area for a decade now. sparring a lot of great fighters at a wild card. But he has been a guy who, in this scenario, can't get the job done. Let's see if he could do that tonight. He's always, like most Filipino fighters, had explosiveness to his game. Let's see if he could pull off an upset. This should be an entertaining fight. You almost never get a bad fight when it's a Mexican against a Filipino. So,
Spanish conquistador blood.
Marky Love, does she have a better jab than you though? No. Just be keeping it real. Just keeping it real. Just keeping it real. She has a jab, but mine's is better.
No.
Mine's is better. Let's see.
I have a closed fist.
Yeshua Saver. Sean, is this a part-time job for you? No, this is full-time. Full-time boxing and now full-time with the NFL. So between those two things, that's how I make a living.
Does she have a better jab?
Yeah, that's what it is, the jab. No. Samantha doesn't have to work, though, thankfully. This is her job tonight. Samantha, what are they wearing? What is William Zepeda? What is this?
I don't know what those are called. No, there's a word for it, though. I'm Shame on me.
What are those dresses these Mexican women are wearing? I know the sombreros on my guys to the right, my mariachi to the right, you know.
What is it called when they dance like that? It's like when with their...
You're supposed to know this.
Don't put me on the spot.
All right, here comes William Zepeda, exciting fighter, combination puncher, fan-friendly, television-friendly style. Don't know if this guy is really an elite lightweight, such a deep, talent-rich division, but here he comes, sombrero and all, the undefeated, high knockout percentage lightweight William Zepeda. Ducked Shakur Stevenson, but good fighter in his own right. Smart fight to turn down because he had no chance of winning it, so why take it? And now here he comes into the ring. William Zepeda takes off the sombrero, shows it to the crowd in Southern California, steps through the ropes, and he's ready to go. William Zepeda has a chance to win tonight and keep winning going forward and join Venado Lopez, Emmanuel Navarrete as the guys beyond Canelo Alvarez that represent the championship pedigree of Mexican boxing. So he has a chance to do that tonight, and he'll need some Venado Lopez and Navarrete in him in that you're not going to be the most technically perfect guy. Mm-hmm. You have to make your flaws a strength and make your awkwardness, the angles on your punches work for you, because he's never going to be a guy that out-sharpshoots Shakur Stevenson or Tank Davis or any of those guys. He'd have to beat them, make his awkwardness work for him, throw punches in bunches, fight with relaxation and no fear, like Venado and Navarrete do. So we'll see. Who's your team in the NFL? The San Francisco 49ers. But I cover the Raiders. Shakur ducking Navarrete, says Carlos. No, he's not. No, he's not. He's a lightweight, and Navarrete's a 130-pounder who doesn't even fight in that division yet. No. I think Shakur would beat Navarrete, but I can't sleep on Navarrete. I knew he was awkward. I knew he had great awkward rhythm and timing, but he's more unpredictable and rangy than I thought based on how he handled Oscar Valdez. So I went from, Navarrete's good, but there's levels to this. Shakur washes him. Inoue can move up and beat him. I still think those guys beat him because they're just that good. Shakur Stevenson and Naoya Inoue. But Navarrete has shown himself to be of such quality that I don't count him out now against those guys. And that's a big compliment considering how high me and everyone else in boxing feels about Shakur and Inoue, So Navarrete's a bad dude. I think Navarrete's the second best fighter from Mexico now, behind Canelo Alvarez. So I got mad props to Navarrete. He proved me wrong. I picked against him. He's one of the very few fights I picked wrong this year, but he got me. And for that, he leveled up in my book. And I already thought highly of him, but so here we go. Zepeda and Gesta receiving their introductions, and we're finally going to start a fight any minute now. You're a good man, Sean. This I know. I feel like you're bro for life. Thank you, Yeshua. I appreciate that, man. So why did Shakur move up, Shaggy? Well, he technically missed weight by a little bit his last fight, so weight may not have been that comfortable. and he unified at 130. Kind of been like Devin moving up now. Like Bennett, business is finished. I became the champ. I unified. I won the ring. On to bigger and better things. And the money's at 135 for Shakur with Lomachenko, with Tank, with Devin. But you bring up a fair point. If he was never going to get those fights anyways, maybe just stick around 130 and fight Navarrete. But to be fair to Shakur, he got stripped of his belt his last fight at 30 because he didn't make the weight technically. So he moved up, did what's best for his body. But you kind of bring up a fair point there. Is the fight on DAZN? It is. So, yeah, but he ain't beating Shakur Stevenson, in my opinion. No. All right, here we go, guys. Main event time. Let's go. Let's go. We got Jim Lampley. Roy Jones here. I was going to say Larry Merchant, but no, Roy Jones here.
You must have forgot.
You must have forgot. Let's go. Who would you favor, Zepeda or Ryan? Let me tell you in about 30 minutes. Let me tell you after I watch Zepeda fight right now. Off top, Ryan Garcia. If they fight at 140, Ryan. So, all right, here we go, guys. Hesta looking a little old in the face. Yeah. All right, round one, and Zepeda, the southpaw, starts off by backing up Hesta, both southpaws. Hesta coming back with a jab to the body. Zepeda working a nice jab to the body, and they fall into the clinch there. Zepeda is on the front foot to start this fight. Hesta's back already touching the ropes. He gets off the ropes, back into the center of the ring. Hesta bouncing up and down. Straight left hand lands for Willie Zepeda behind the jab. Lands up top on Hesta. Nice jab to the body by Willie Zepeda. Zepeda moving his head a little bit as he applies pressure off that jab to the body. Making Hesta miss on the inside with a right uppercut and made a miss with a right hook. But Hesta landing his jab and doubling it up in the center of the ring. Good pace from both fighters to start this fight. Zepeda applying that pressure. Hesta with two body shots but eats a jab up top. Hesta not quite comfortable with the pressure just yet. Nice jab to the body by Zepeda, and he has Hesta on the ropes. Hesta moving out to his right, makes Zepeda fall short with the jab, falls short with the straight left hand, backs out to his right, lands his jabs. They trade jabs, both land their jab. Zepeda with a little sweeping left hook to the body, but gets his combination up top blocked, and he ate an uppercut in between punches. They trade jabs. Zepeda, though, the busier, aggressive fighter, backing up Hesta and getting off 2 or 3 to 1 to start this fight. Good jab by Zepeda to start to the body and to the head. The kind of jab that could be countered by better fighters like Shakur, but he's being busy with it to start, working it to the body a lot. Halfway through the round, Jack Reese has to put the mouthpiece back in Zepeda as it fell out there for a second. Hesta trying a straight left hand and a right hook, left hand follow-up, all blocked by Zepeda. Hesta moving out to his right, Straight left hand lands for Zepeda and a right hook behind it. Hesta tying up after that. Hesta cornered into the corner. Moves out to his right, but isn't comfortably having good ring generalship against the aggression of Zepeda. Zepeda jabbing to the body, backing Hesta from on rope to rope right now. Hesta not holding the center of the ring. Zepeda with a nice right hook, a nice sweeping left hand to the body. Eats an uppercut from Hesta, but walks through it and keeps applying pressure. Hesta landing some shots in between Zepeda's combinations, but not enough to keep him off, and he's getting outlanded as Zepeda is taking the fight to him in round one. Zepeda, nice jab to the body, gets out of the way of the counter left hand from Hesta trying to counter over the top of that jab. Eats a couple of jabs, comes up with his own jab, and knocks Hesta's head back. Hesta's punches not stopping the forward momentum of Zepeda when he lands, and Zepeda coming forward, landing combinations. 1, 2, 3 by Zepeda. Decent defense by Zepeda, getting away from the return fire by Hesta. Dips in with 2 body shots and cleans up with the right hook as Hesta backs out of the center of the ring. Gets back on his jab, does Hesta. But back comes Zepeda, using the jab to the body to find his range and set up combinations up top. Much more accurate. Nice right hook to the head, right hook to the body. Right hook, sweeping left hand at the bell for William Zepeda. Relentless pace, relentless pressure. Good job sticking the jab to the body, too, to set up combinations. Hesta walking him into some shots in between all those combinations by Zepeda, but Zepeda backing him up, not having his forward momentum stopped. Hesta not able to keep the fight in the center of the ring. He's getting backed up onto the ropes. That was Zepeda's round 10-9. Zepeda doing a good job with his jab and is moving his head, but still, it's the kind of jab that if he was fighting Shakur, it would get countered over the top. But against Gesta, not as much. Gesta not looking entirely comfortable with that pressure in round one. He got pushed on the ropes a lot. Couldn't hold, kind of like I was talking about with Jermell Charlo 2 weeks from now with Canelo, not holding the center of the ring. Getting pushed to the ropes, Can't. That jab has to be enough to keep him off and keep him at bay in the center of the ring. And you have to have escape routes off. See, he's trying that. He doubles up the jab and trying to find an escape route. But not doing it to start. Now he lets go of some combinations. Good combination by Mercito Gesta, but Zepeda covering up well enough. Nice jab by Gesta. Gesta off to a decent first 20 seconds, but Zepeda is mounting that pressure. Gesta with a high guard, catching some of the combinations on the gloves, but then a big sweeping left hand catches him as he tries to work his way off the ropes. Nice left hand by Gesta. Lands on Zepeda as Zepeda applies the pressure. Gesta landing some good shots in the first minute here. But Zepeda not deterred. But this has been a solid first minute by Gesta compared to the last round. Zepeda landing his jab, but Gesta staying defensively alert, catching the combinations. Gesta getting driven to the ropes repeatedly. Eats a right hook, smothers a right uppercut, eats a body shot. Nice catch and shoot. Took the body shot, but shot a right hook, did Gesta. Zepeda all over him. Right hook to the body. Another right hook to the body. Sweeping nice right hook counter by Gesta. Hard right hook. Beginning to punch in between Zepeda's punches with hard shots of his own now. Not getting off as often as Zepeda, but landing some hard shots in between these combinations of Zepeda. Halfway through the round, more competitive round than the first. Zepeda hard sweeping left hand to the body, just working his hands on the inside. Right hook. Gesta not able to keep up on the inside, eating another right hook, straight left hand. Nice body shot by Zepeda, working the headshots up top, and then boom, placing a body shot down there. Nice right hook to the body by Gesta, but getting outworked and outpunched on the inside. Another sweeping left hand sets up a right hook up top for Zepeda. Zepeda, right hook to the body, straight left hand. Back comes Gesta. Gesta's face beginning to redden now. Hard body shot along the ropes and a clean straight left hand along the ropes, all by William Zepeda. Gesta not holding up well with this pressure. Hard right hook to the body sets up a beautiful three-punch combination up top for William Zepeda. Right hook to the body, right hook up top. Back to the right hook to the body. Some of these shots in the borderline. Gesta just eating body shots on the inside, not being able to keep up with this pace of William Zepeda. Relentless William Zepeda. Nice right hook up top. Nice straight left hand to the body. Right hook to the body again. Gesta's on the ropes, eating punishment. Straight left hand to the body. Gesta looks like he's about to go down because of the body work is relentless. Left uppercut up top lands for Zepeda. Straight left hand to the body. Left uppercut lands up top for Zepeda. Tons and tons of body work in that sequence by Zepeda with Gesta on the ropes. Gesta almost looked like he was going to go down, but he stayed up. 10 seconds left in the round. Gesta returning fire on the inside, but getting outlanded 5 or 6 or 7 to 1 right now. Right hook, left hand, right hook, left hand, right hook, left hand, all landing in sequence for Zepeda. Gesta smiles with his back along the ropes, but he ate a ton of punishment in the second round. The body work alone looked like it was going to make him go down.
It did. He just escaped that round. I was going to say in the first round he was looking like he's reacting more than he's...
They're called get-off-me punches.
Yeah, get-off-me punches.
When you're not holding the center of the ring, you're dictating. Mm-hmm. You know, stay back. Stay back behind this jab. I'm going to dictate the range and when we fight.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick my spots. But that's not what's happening. Gesta, like Charlo against Castaño, and this is a big problem for Charlo heading into Canelo. It worked for Charlo against Castaño, but you're throwing get-off-me punches. Mm-hmm. You're not holding the center of the ring. You're not dictating the distance. He's getting in. And your only answer is, fight with him. Mm-hmm. You're fighting on his terms. Those are get-off-me punches.
And they're not working.
No, they're not going to be as effective as the guy who's got forward momentum coming into his shots. Sitting down, picking it. He's dictating. And Zepeda's the boss early on.
He's got tunnel vision.
And he's relentless. Mm-hmm. You're gonna hit. He's all offense first. You're gonna hit it. You're gonna walk him into some shots. But if you can't hit him with something big enough to keep him off, he's gonna overwhelm you. And that's what's happening right now to Gesta. So here we are in round 3. Gesta already looking tired in comparison to Zepeda. Straight left hand lands for Zepeda over the top of Gesta's tiring jab. Gesta smiling, That sweeping left just a little off. Right hook to the body on the inside for Zepeda. Right hook up top for Zepeda. Nice punch selection by Zepeda. Right hook, straight left hand, shortening up his shots on the inside. Oh, hard straight left hand lands for Zepeda. That hurt Gesta. Gesta is tough. Filipino warrior. They come tough. But straight left hand again lands, and a right hook and a combination up top. Gesta is hurt in the third. Left hand to the body. Right hook up top. Gesta trying to return a bomb, trying to return combinations, eating tons of combinations with his back on the ropes to the head, to the body. Back comes Gesta with a right hook. No quit in him. Double right hook, triple right hook by Gesta, but he's more tired than Zepeda. And in this body work, he can't hold up to it forever. Straight left hand to the body, sets up a right hook up top for Zepeda. Right hook to the body. Right hook, left hook up top for Zepeda. Right hook to the body. Right uppercut lands hard for Zepeda. Gesta somehow standing up to this onslaught. Straight left hand lands for Zepeda. Another straight left hand. Mixing in the body work. Sweeping left hand to the body. Gesta is on the ropes. Zepeda going for the finish. Big right hook. Gesta returning fire. Still returning fire with a right hook here and there. Smiles. These Filipino warriors are something else, man. But right hook to the body. Sweeping left hand up top. Left uppercut to the body. Right hook up top. Right hook, left hook. Back comes Gesta with a bomb, but it's one or two at a time, and Zepeda is relentless. Oh, right uppercut lands for Gesta. Zepeda, back on the jab. Staying on top of Gesta. Gesta backed on the ropes again. Zepeda changing levels with his combinations. Head, body, head, body, head. Jab to the body for Zepeda. Gesta on the ropes again. Eats a sweeping left hand. Eats a right hook up top. Right hook to the body. Nails Zepeda with a right hook in between his punches here and there, but not enough to keep him off. Zepeda getting low. Tucking his chin as he gets low. Short right hook, straight left hand, right hook to the body, right hook up top. Touches with the jab. Backs Gesta up with the jab. Straight left hand, right hook. Gesta blocking it. Gesta eats that jab to the body. Nice counter, straight left hand off the ropes by Gesta, but eating combinations. Eating the jab, knocking his head up as he retreats into the ropes. 10 seconds left. Combination up top by Zepeda. Gesta returning fire. Somehow still got some bullets in the chamber despite eating 100 body shots and 100 headshots. It's all Zepeda, 30-27, but Gesta is a tough son of a bitch.
Gesta's made up his mind that he could take these punches now.
Those Filipino. When have you ever known a Filipino to be soft in the ring? They don't know. They don't know how to quit.
Never, but
that's just not how they get down.
I don't want this to be ugly now. He's gonna get caught.
Gesta is landing, says Tay Day. He is landing. He is landing,
yeah.
But he's landing 7-1. I mean, he's eating everything. Lou says. Fights like these remind me why I choose jiu-jitsu instead of boxing. So much punishment. Teofimo Lopez, ringside with his little baby son. Teofimo been very nice to Samantha and my son when we've met him out and about. So this family got love for Teofimo. Teofimo discussing with Oscar. Hey, Oscar, feed me Ryan.
Feed me Ryan.
Oscar, no problem. I don't like that kid.
Over him.
I'm translating.
Yes.
All right, here we go. Round 4. Zepeda making it a phone booth fight, Deca. All right. Zepeda nonstop pressure, tucking his chin behind his jab, getting low, and changing the levels on his combinations. Right hook, nice uppercut by Gesta. Gesta still throwing bombs with his back on the ropes. Never say die attitude. Landing the jab a little bit hard. Right hook to the body on the inside for Zepeda. Zepeda got a high KO percentage, but not a one-punch knockout artist at all. He's obviously an accumulation puncher. Right hook lands for Zepeda. Straight left hand, right hook. Sweeps the left hand to the body. Sweeps a right hook to the body. Combination up top. Gesta putting his hands up like this for a minute. Eating punches along the ropes. Very odd form of defense. Gesta eating shots along the ropes. Knocking his head up. And just take it. The referee will stop this inevitably if he keeps eating combinations like this along the ropes. And that was an odd sequence by Gesta. He picked his gloves up almost like he was half taunting and just ate punches.
Yeah.
Jab to the body. Keeps pinning Gesta along the ropes for Zepeda. Gesta not returning fire right now. Moves off into the center of the ring. Ties up. Right hook to the body for Zepeda. Jab up top for Zepeda. Zepeda keeping it in the phone booth. Sweeping left hand to the body. Gesta 2 or 3 jabs, but tired attempts. Zepeda cutting the distance at will. Right hook, left uppercut, right hook. Straight left hand off a touch jab for Zepeda. Sweeping left hand to the body, right hook to the body. Zepeda has landed 146 punches through 3.5 rounds.
You could tell.
That's an absurd amount of punishment Gesta's absorbing. And they're going to have to stop this pretty soon. Gesta, straight left hand, knocks him back into the ropes. Zepeda punching in combination, so even when the first or second shot isn't knocking his head back, the third, fourth, or fifth is. Straight left hand blocked for Gesta, finally. Finally blocks a shot. But right hook to the body lands, and a right hook, straight left hand, all up top for Zepeda. 45 seconds left in this round. Gesta along the ropes again, rolling shots, but defense has not been good tonight. Gesta back along the ropes, trying to rest on the inside, but Zepeda won't let him. He eats a right hook to the pit of the stomach. Zepeda applying pressure, straight left hand, combination up top, jab, right hook to the body, jab up top, straight left hand, right hook. It's hard to call all the punches. Straight left hand sets up a right hook to the body. If you stand in front of Willie Zepeda, he's an excellent combination puncher. Right hook to the body for Zepeda. Back comes Gesta with a flurry off the ropes. Finally, blood coming from from underneath his right eye, swelling beginning to happen for Gesta, but he's still fighting, still firing off shots here and there. Straight left hand, right uppercut, straight left hand, all with Gesta along the ropes. Big round for Zepeda. 40-36 for Zepeda, all Zepeda. Zepeda maybe close to setting copy box records for numbers of punches landed through 3 or 4 rounds. He's had to have landed over 150 punches through 4 rounds. That's astonishing.
Do you know what his stamina is like?
Zepeda?
Uh-huh.
He's fine.
Okay.
He could probably do this all night.
I was more worried about Gesta in the first and second round. Now he's like, almost not got a second win, but...
Someone in the chat said, James Valdez said Zepeda versus Kid Austin. Who wins? Zepeda. Right now, Zepeda. Kid Austin's a puppy. He's a very talented, he's as raw as he is talented. He's extremely talented. He's a phenomenal athlete, but he's very raw. He's not technically sound yet, and he's only 19 or 20 years old. Zepeda's 27. He's entering his prime. He's a full-grown man. I think Kid Austin has a lot more talent than William Zepeda. But Zepeda is a relentless grown man. That ain't the fight right now for Kid Austin. Maybe he could win it on sheer talent, as young as he is. But I would give the edge to Zepeda. So here we are in the 5th. Zepeda continuing to mount. Oh, straight left hand, right uppercut. Big shots for Mercito Gesta, knocking the sweat off of Zepeda's head. Zepeda still coming forward, but that shot might have got his attention a little bit because he hasn't opened up as relentless since eating those shots. Gesta has had some breathing room because he finally landed some shots that got his respect.
I was going to say, you got a second win somehow.
Gesta's eyes swelling, blood underneath the right eye, but he's still game as they can be. And has had a decent first minute to this 5th round. Those 2 big head-snapping shots have him ahead after 1 minute, but now Zepeda mounting the pressure, knocks him back into the ropes, knocks his head up with 2 jabs. Gesta blocking the combinations better to start the round, though. Oh, they trade right uppercuts, but Zepeda relentless to follow up after he another right uppercut and a right hook and a right uppercut landing for Zepeda. Gesta smiling, gets knocked into the ropes after a jab. Left uppercut. Beautiful combinations. Right hook to the body. Gesta looking hurt along the ropes. Zepeda relentless combination shots. Gesta holds. Eats 2 shots out of the clinch. Sweep right hook to the body, sweeping left hand, right hook left. Oh, a little bit of a Benavidez-like combination by Zepeda. Rat-a-tat-tat-tat up top, right hooks, left hooks. Big combinations landing for Zepeda. Gesta staying along the ropes. I can't believe he's still standing up. This is some punishment he's taking. Now Gesta finally gets off the ropes, moves off to his right, touches with his jab, touching with the jab, measuring with it. Zepeda short with the right hook. Gesta just keeping him at bay with a jab. Nothing on it. No steam on it, but keeping him at bay. Now his back is near the ropes, and here comes an explosion from Zepeda. Zepeda exploding with a combination up top, digging those right hooks to the body beautifully when Gesta covers up top. And even when he covers up, the combinations are splitting the guard from all different angles. Right uppercut lands for Zepeda because he punches a non-stop combination. Sweeping left hand, right hook to the body. Straight left hand up top. Straight left hand up top. Making Gesta miss in between his punches. Gesta tired. Gesta tired. Recedes into the ropes. Eats a combination up top. Returns fire so that Jack Reese doesn't stop it. Left uppercut to the body. Another left uppercut to the body. Gesta is tired. Very tired attempt by Gesta. This could be the end. Right hook to the body by Zepeda. Right hook up top. They trade. Jab to the body for Zepeda. Gesta along the ropes. How much more can this man take? He's human. Right hook to the body for Zepeda. And he makes it out of another round. 5 rounds to nothing for Zepeda. Gesta holding the ropes, taking a deep breath. His corner should save him.
Yeah.
His corner. I love Marvin Samodia. Marvin has spent a lot of years alongside Freddie Roach. It's time for Marvin to save his brave fellow Filipino from himself.
Any head
Jack Reese is telling Marvin and telling Gesta, you can't continue to take punches like this. The doctor is looking at Gesta. He is taking a scary amount of punishment right now.
And he's openly.
I don't even know if he knows where he's at. Fighters get into... We've seen fighters die before they hit the canvas, like Maxime Dadashev. Maxime Dadashev never actually was knocked down.
Like he's ready to give it his all. No, like
he's willing to die in there. Mm-hmm. So you got to save him from himself. Yeah. Does the corner of Gesta? They should stop this thing.
If he was gonna,
they should stop this thing.
Yeah, if he was, this was his second win that round.
What? Look at that right uppercut. That was right. That's right to the brain, lifting up. He is eating so many punches to the body, to the head. It's not. He's landing a bomb here and there. That's not letting Jack Reese stop it. But they should stop this fight, man. They should stop this fight. This is starting to look like Maxime Dadashev. This is starting to look like the David Morrell fight with the Kazakh. Yerbaseli. Tough time, but he went to the hospital and almost lost his life that night. Guys lose their lives when they take punishment into the championship rounds. 8, 9, 10, 11. We're entering the 6th. This should be the last round.
Yeah,
this should be the last round. Here we go. Round 6. Zepeda and Gesta. Gesta has fought as brave as a fighter could possibly fight. And he needs the corner, the doctor, and the referee to save him from himself. Round 6. Gesta still opening up, still moving around, still throwing punches. Zepeda blocking much of Gesta's punches on the outside, waiting to drive him to the ropes again where he can unleash. Gesta staying off the ropes. Little touch right hook, eats a straight left hand that knocks his head up, eats a jab that knocks his head up. All he has for defense are his legs right now. Right hook to the body for Zepeda. Gesta using those legs, trying to stay off the ropes, but it's a matter of time before he's pinned. Right hooks to the body by Zepeda. Right hook up top for Zepeda. Gesta, right hook to the body for Zepeda. Left uppercut, jab to the body. Right hook, left uppercut, both land up top. Sweeping left hand to the body, straight left hand to the body. Sweeping left hand up top. It's target practice. Yeah. Left uppercut lands for Zepeda. Zepeda has landed 217 fucking punches. Stop the fight. Gesta still throwing a right hook off the ropes. Moves off to his right. The jab knocks his head up. Right hook to the body. Stop it, Jack. Stop it, Jack. Gesta on the ropes, eating combinations. What is Jack Reese waiting for?
I don't know. He's not
to the body, to the head.
That's it.
Gesta's not returning fire, not defending himself. He's just laying on the ropes, eating combinations to the head and to the body. And Jack Reese stops the fight.
I think his corner.
And that's it. The fight is stopped. I don't know what was going to put Mercito Gesta on the canvas tonight. Maybe a gun? But apparently nothing. Apparently William Zepeda could just keep hitting him and he wasn't going to go down.
He had his mind made up that this was going to be
that he was either going to die or because this was do or die for him, and he fought like it.
Yeah,
and
I see the heartbreak in him. He's a warrior.
Absolute
he's
warrior.
A true warrior.
Filipino warrior. That's how they come. Filipinos. They're as tough. Yeah, smiling through it all. Filipinos tough,
man. It's a little heartbreaking to see, actually.
Oh, he's tough.
Pull a Jim Lampley here.
Oh yeah, Sammy's gonna go Jim Lampley here, and she's pregnant too. So, Willie Zepeda did his thing. Relentless. No defense.
No defense, just pure Mexican brawler. I love it. But it's fun to watch. Not fun to watch Gesta have to go through with it. But
look, if this was a division that didn't have Gervonta Davis, Shakur Stevenson, Vasyl Lomachenko, You know, that he could be
technically sound.
He could be a champion.
Yeah.
He's a good fighter. Relentless. Great combination puncher.
I think the farthest guy that ever went that route was this guy back here, Maidana. But
yeah, Maidana. Right. Maidana. Right. Good point. But man,
that was fun. As soon as he walked in the ring, I was like, man,
that was brutal.
Fun. Yeah.
Pink Panther said, not gonna lie, I wasn't impressed with Zepeda. I was. I mean, that's who Zepeda is. He has no defense. He's not the fastest guy. Although his hands, when he puts them together, that right hook comes out quick when it comes in combination. He doesn't have that lead right hook, you know, that like a lead hook like Floyd or Roy Jones, you know. But he can't lead with the hook. But when you stand in front of him, or if he gets you on the ropes and he punches in combination, they start coming with more steam and snap on him. They steamroll. The longer he's allowed to tee off and put punches together in combination, the more snap and zip they begin to have on them.
Yeah.
So
but to your point, he's not going to be able to do that with somebody who's, you know, technically sound.
Yeah, who's gonna
and has defense, unlike Gesta.
Yes. So, but he's a good fighter. But he's not going to become the king of this division. Not with the fighters and the talent and the athleticism and defense and speed that's in this division. But he's good. He's good and hella fun to watch.
Who's his trainer?
I don't know. I should know that, but I don't. Okay. I'll tell you in a second. Let me see.
Everything. Smart.
Who should he fight next? I think Pitbull would be a great fight. Shout out to Bernard Hopkins. We love Bernard. Pitbull would be a great fight. On their best night, I favor Pitbull. Pitbull is more compact puncher than him. And I think punch for punch, Pitbull hits harder than him. Even though Zepeda has the higher knockout percentage, I think one punch power, Pitbull is a little more explosive and snappy than him. Has a little bit more snap on his shots. Although, like I said, Zepeda generates snap once you let him steam or once you let him get rolling like an avalanche. I would favor Isaac Cruz over Zepeda. I think Cruz is a little bit more explosive, a little bit more compact, a little bit tighter with the high guard. Zepeda is longer than him. Zepeda's longer than him. He's 5'9". Cruz is 5'4". But Zepeda don't fight rangy. He slugs it out. And in a slugging match where two guys are just opening it up in exchange, give me the guy who's a little snappier and a little bit more compact in Isaac Cruz. I'd favor Cruz. But that's a hell of a fight. That's a war. That's an all-out war. Pitbull blocking all those combinations. Pitbull going to catch and shoot on his ass. Yak! 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 He's going to catch and shoot on Zepeda. Nasty. So good point, Tay-Day. Great point. Deca says Pitbull has more snap on his punches than Zepeda. That's what I'm saying. Zepeda generates snap if you let him roll off combinations. It'll be snap, snap, snap. But he, for whatever reason, some guys are like that. He can't pop shot. Pop shot is when you could generate that snap on a one or two punch. Dink, dink. Think, you know, and he doesn't have that. He'll get sharpshooted on the outside from guys that know how to do that. Against Cruz, like Deca said, Cruz has some snap, has some speed, and more so. So I think Cruz would win, but I don't know. Then again, Zepeda's longer than him, a little bit taller than him, throws more punches than him. Cruz loads up more. Cruz is a good combination puncher, but like Giovanni Cabrera made him look very so-so by just loading up. But part of why he loaded up and fell short is Cabrera was very tall and lanky and awkward. Zepeda comes to exchange. So, yeah, because he comes to exchange, I'll take the more compact puncher who's a little bit quicker in Isaac. Zepeda versus Nakatani is a good fight. Masahiro Nakatani, the guy who Lomachenko knocked out 2 years ago, I didn't know I don't know if he's even still around like that. What in the cringe did this goofy ass bowl cut do? Says Zach G. Zach G. Goofy. You know, it's the Ashton Kutcher look.
I like the comment before.
What?
Because it's true.
You look like you got hands. Says Ice Ice Baby. I do. Someone tell Zach G.
Not worth it, but yes,
no, I'm just kidding. That's what the guy with the horrible bowl cut did. We did a live round by round tonight. You should have joined us. What was your name again? Zach G. Zach G. Next time you should join the bowl cut haircut for a live round by round. You should.
There's genius underneath.
There's genius in there. You heard her. Zepeda versus Keyshawn. Ooh. Zepeda would take the young man to some deep water. Keyshawn. But Keyshawn is green. Keyshawn has never been taken to deep waters against a relentless pressure fighter that can punch like Zepeda. That's not an easy fight. That's an easy fight for Keyshawn 2 or 3 years from now. Not right now. Right now, Zepeda would give him some hell. Would give him his hands full. I still think Keyshawn would figure him out. Keyshawn can counter. Keyshawn's a much better talent than Zepeda. He's a thoroughbred. So I think Keyshawn would have to swim in some deep water. He'd be a little bit like the little kid when you throw him in the deep end. And then he'd figure it out. He'd be all right. So that's how that would be. Chino Moreno says, PBC lover, if only you knew, my friend. If only you fucking knew the kind of heated arguments I've had with people I respect that work at PBC. No, I don't. The tough thing with PBC is I hate the fact that boxing isn't like the NFL and the NBA. That it's if the NFL were like boxing, Patrick Mahomes last year would have said, "What do I got to play Jalen Hurts for? Who's Jalen Hurts? I'm Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
I'm the one who makes all the money. I won a Super Bowl. What's Jalen Hurts done to play me? What's he done? I'm in the AFC. I'm not in the NFC. I'm on this side of the street, and I'm making money, and I won a Super Bowl. So I hate that shit. It's ridiculous. It makes a mockery of the sport, but they all do it. Bob Arum does the same shit. Eddie Hearn does the same shit. So just because PBC does it better, that's the problem. That's the problem with me going off on PBC for something like for getting in the way of a Tank and Shakur. Tank and Shakur, we all know, are the two best lightweights. So fight. This is what boxing is, right? We want to know who the best in every division is. But Arum would do the same thing if the shoe was on the other foot. Hearn would do the same thing if the shoe was on the other foot. So I can't do the double standard to PBC. I don't like it, but they're doing what everyone in this business does. And, it sucks, but it is what it is. So, gentlemen, let's be respectful. I agree, White Braxton. I agree. Chino Moreno says PBC payroll.
He's just
Chino, why do I don't get paid by PBC? I did some articles for them back in the day, made $300 an article, but overtake. What's that?
Oh, like I overtook. Overtake?
Overtake. What you mean, BT? How much does PBC pay you? They pay me nothing.
Chino
they
Moreno,
pay me nothing.
do you work for somebody?
Yeah, do you work for someone?
What propaganda are you pulling?
What propaganda? What agenda are you trying to pull with that?
Proud Filipino here. I'm sorry, Samantha.
She has every right to still be proud. That's
namesake.
the defining characteristics of tonight's fight, despite being dominated, was Hesta's heart, and that's what's great about boxing. Sometimes you walk away more impressed with the loser because of the heart he displayed, or he was an underdog and did so much better than you thought. Like Sean Porter did that a lot. I think more people came away impressed with Sean Porter after the Errol Spence fight than Errol Spence, even though Sean didn't win. So, Samantha, be proud of your fellow Filipino, because the most memorable thing from tonight's main event was Hesta's heart. More than Zepeda's relentlessness and combination punching were excellent. But I think the biggest standout thing from either fighter tonight was the heart of Mercito Gesta.
Oh, yeah.
So
he made, yeah. Said,
thank you for the $1,000 in Filipino money. Thank you so much. Filipino. Thank you so much, though. We love Nonito, Manny.
We do, yeah.
So. Is this your sister or your mother? It's my wife, brother. It's my wife. See, Chino Moreno came around. He says, do you want to see Crawford versus Canelo? No, Chino Moreno, that's you pushing that PBC narrative of Crawford-Canelo. We want to see Benavidez, but there you go. There you go again.
You turned.
No. Chino Moreno got an agenda. He's the one with the PBC agenda. He's the one who wants to see the newly signed PBC guy, instead of David Benavidez, get the shot we've all been asking for. Chino Moreno, the
Wait, what is this late show response?
Oh, late show 42 response. Let's see, where's it at? My bad. Please overtake Ellie. He sucks. Oh, consider it overtooken. No, you guys brought that out of me. God bless the man. He works his ass off.
Sean almost turned heel.
Did I? Where?
Oh.
I almost turned heel on all the boxing promoters. Chi-Chi, it's not easy. It's not easy. Look, it's not easy. I don't exactly want them to hear that take I gave you guys. There's a lot of takes I give you guys.
What take?
What take, right? No, hey, PBC's awesome. Top Rank's amazing. So is Matchroom. All these twists and turns, says Charles N. Indeed. The entertainment value of tonight's stream. Chino Moreno. I'm just kidding. I was just kidding, Chino Moreno. What do I think of Canelo and Crawford? I think it makes more sense for Crawford than it does Canelo. Crawford has a lot more to gain. Canelo has a lot more to lose. In the post-Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao days, a lot of people would argue Andre Ward, Chocolatito, Terrence Crawford. But I think at the end of the day, objectively speaking, because it can't be all eye test. You have to, eye test gets balanced with level of accomplishments, what you actually got in there and proved. I think when you fairly balance eye test and what they actually accomplished, Canelo is the greatest fighter in the post-Mayweather era. That doesn't mean pound for pound, head to head, he beats Andre Ward, he beats Terrence Crawford, but he's had a greater career than them, I think. And he's such an excellent fighter in terms of the eye test that it's not like if you think they're better than him on the eye test, not like they're so much better than them that it nullifies him having better accomplishments. So, but if Crawford would have beat Canelo, he changes all that. He's the best fighter hands down since Floyd retired. It's Crawford, not Dre or Canelo or Chocolatito. It's Crawford. A lot of people feel like it is Crawford now anyways, but I feel like more often than not, the general consensus would be it's been Canelo's era since Floyd hung him up. If you had to give it to one guy. If Crawford beats Canelo, he cements himself as the best since then. And he leapfrogs Canelo in all-time greatness standing. Right now, they're pretty close. Canelo might be a little bit ahead. So if you're Canelo, if you're going to lose, wouldn't you rather lose to a 27-year-old Mexican monster who's 6'2", who's much bigger and younger than you, instead of a little guy moving up who will snatch the era from you? It'll go from Canelo was the best in the post-Floyd era to Crawford. A lot more to lose for Canelo than Crawford. So much more to gain for Crawford. I think Canelo's better off just facing Benavidez. And if I had it my way, Crawford would have to fight Boots. But it's unfair to Crawford, because if Crawford knocks out Boots, people just get to say, well, who was Boots anyways? He never even won a world title. I wouldn't say that. I'd give him all the credit in the world, because even if Boots went on to do nothing, say Crawford ruined him, like Felix Trinidad, David Reed, he just ruined him. That's okay. He won a gold medal. Then I would be like, nah, he beat a bad guy that night. I don't give a fuck what he did after that night. That night that Crawford beat him, he was the most dangerous welterweight in the world to his throne. So,
right. Somebody wanted to know what round they won. Zepeda won in. Was it sixth?
Sixth, yeah, totally dominant knockout. Dominated Mercito Gesta, who took a ridiculous amount of punches, especially when you look at the body punishment he took. There was, as early as the second round, he ate 4 or 5 body shots on the rope, and his body doubled over. Like he was going to have, and he just was like, nope, I'm not going to. He went to another place that fighters go to tonight where they won't say die.
Just hold it on.
And I don't know nothing about that. Canelo versus Benavidez, Cinco de Mayo. You heard it. If BT puts money on it, it's money. If Canelo Crawford was that hot, BT would be pushing for it. But he's not. He's putting dollar bags by Canelo Benavidez. That means it ain't all that. Any news on AB? He's cursing people out at McDonald's for getting his orders wrong.
He is?
Yeah, he looks more pregnant than Samantha.
Oh.
And I'm just saying.
Oh.
I like Adrian. I wouldn't.
This is also an Adrian Broner household.
She loves Adrian Broner, but I think he's fighting November 4th against a guy from Miami or in Miami, against another white guy who can't fight very well, but has a good enough record to sell the fight.
Should have looked out for him.
Hope Adrian does his thing. He actually did okay in his last fight. He actually looked like he wanted to be there, which was an upgrade over the last several fights before that. Wilson says bona fide clown. Thank you, Wilson. Happy you checked in just to say that. GDDD said Benavidez will beat Canelo. Good to see you, GDDD, in the chat. I agree. I think Benavidez will beat him. But he's got to stay out of the way of those body shots in the first 6 to 7 rounds. Canelo, early, when he's fresh, he could stop David to the body or at least drop him. But when Canelo inevitably begins the fight in spurts in the second half of the fight, that's where David could come on really strong. And I think David could hurt Canelo in a way other fighters can't. Canelo's got such a great chin. Very few of them can go mano-y-mano with him in mid to close range. David's one of the very few fighters in the world that can, and that's why it would be so exciting. Jermell Charlo's got to box a perfect fight. Dimitri Bivol and Floyd Mayweather outboxed Canelo. If Charlo's going to win, he's going to box a perfect fight. Benavidez is the one guy that's going to try to beat him mano-a-mano in a firefight, and that's why I want to see it. So... And I think the younger, bigger guy will get it done against the smaller, older legend.
I think in this last episode of All Access, even Canelo realized he got older. Because he's like, my hair used to be redder. I used to have more hair.
Right. And he said after his workout, I don't know how I look, but I feel great. And I'm like, you're saying you don't know how you look because we know how you look. Tired.
Yeah.
And you're convincing yourself, not to forget even us, you're convincing yourself, I feel great. That's something old fighters do. Yeah. I feel great. I feel 25. This is the best best camp I ever had in my life. But when that bell rings, you're 35. And he's not 35, but you know what I mean? So we shall see. David's chin is way too available for Canelo, says Patrick. It might be. And same with his tall target of that body. Canelo, bang, could drop him, could send him to a knee on the body shot. But David, that chin's exposed, right? But he has underrated reflexes, and he's tall. And tall guys with good reflexes, it's a little deceptive. It looks easier to hit than it is. Because they got that. And they're tall, and they're tall, and when you're starting to reach for them, boom, they're hitting.
They move.
You're walking into their shots too now, so it's not that easy. FightHype, BT said, "Man, Caleb went the distance with him. You know who winning. Search your heart, Sean. You know it to be true." It's searched. I think Benavidez is going to win the fight. I'm not moving off of that, man.
Blindly no boxing.
Look, man. Look, BT. Kenny Bayless. He helped that man see the final bell. Don't do David like that. Don't act like it wasn't 2-on-1. Don't act like this wasn't special referee. That Benavidez plant was a WWF Here Comes the Pain special referee match.
It was.
When the referee's like, 1, 2. He was like doing special referee, and then when Caleb Plant had the pinfall, 1, 2, and a kick out. It was like he's trying,
So many wrestling references.
Yeah, man. He had that special referee, boy. He had that special referee. Yeah,
Here's a good one. I don't know who David versus Porky Medina.
Sean, tonight's fight reminded me of David versus Porky Medina. Yeah, that was when he did the Mortal Kombat combo. That was the famous clip.
We should play that game.
I'm gonna buy the new Mortal Kombat. But GDDD said Canelo is not as fast as he used to be. He has been looking a little more sluggish lately, but he said all the right things. He's been training in Tahoe. He moved from San Diego to Tahoe, up in the mountains, better elevation. Said his injuries have healed up, so he can give 100% in training. Despite all that he said, he looked tired to me on his media day. I'm still thinking he's going to win this fight, but we'll see.
Charlo's the one actually recovering from injuries.
The Montreal screw job. Right. Canelo is very predictable in his combinations, says GDDD. He's become more predictable. I've been telling you that.
Yeah, you have.
Because he's been falling in love with that touch, yeah. He's been falling in love with that applying the pressure, touch. When he's at his best, he's more when he's at his best, he uses his jab more. and his jab is a really good jab. It's not a long jab. He has, not long arms, but it's a perfectly thrown jab. He has a great jab. And when he uses it, that's what sets up the lead hook. That like Golovkin in the rematch, when he faked the shit out of Golovkin didn't know if the hook was coming to the body or to the head, and then it just boom, beautiful highlight in the second round that all of you have seen probably plenty of times in that rematch with Golovkin. He landed that hook, I think, because he out jabbed Golovkin in round 1. He held the set. He went off his jab, and then that jab sets up the lead hook. And basically, when Canelo's really using his jab and not pawing with his lead hand to telegraph and set up the right hand and just push you to the ropes behind him, push you to the ropes, here it comes over the top, or here it comes with the uppercut. When he's shooting his jab, he gets a lot more creative with his offense. That's when you don't know if he's going downstairs or upstairs, if he's leading with the hook or starting with the jab to set up the right hand or set up the uppercut or set something up. So he has been more predictable with his punch selection lately. But if he's using his jab in round 1, and that's a good sign, But if he's pawing with it and just moving his head and trying to set up big bombs, that's not a good sign.
I think he respects Charlo. I think he's going to use the jab.
Yeah, he has to, because Charlo has a good jab. So, David Benavidez might be Canelo's easiest fight. Khalid, did you see the Callum Smith fight? I mean, the guy didn't even throw a punch basically for 12 rounds. He just walked from pillar to post, from rope to rope, and got beat up. And David can't do worse than that. Like, he won't. Canelo versus Charlo might end up like De La Hoya Mosley, says Fight News. It might. But that's a little bit... I mean, in the sense that guy moving up 2 weight classes like Mosley did to beat Oscar. And then Oscar, he did fade down the stretch like he tended to do sometimes. He faded, but not like he did against Trinidad, but he faded down the stretch. Oscar was winning that fight with Mosley, and then he faded down the stretch. Shane came on strong, won the fight. That's exactly how Charlo wins this fight, is Canelo getting tired in the second half. Canelo, I think, has to get more tired than De La Hoya was against Mosley, though. Canelo has to get tired by the 7th round or so, and Charlo can sense that and put his foot on the pedal and step. That's how Charlo wins. Charlo wins if Canelo meets him halfway. If Canelo continues to gradually decline, and if Canelo gets tired early in the fight, Charlo can sense that, step it up, and out-hustle Canelo and pull off the upset. But I think Canelo's got to meet him halfway for Charlo to pull it off. Silent Milo, thank you, brother, said, I lost $1,500 on a fight I wasn't even interested in with Zepeda. Should have took my chances with Canelo by KO, TKO versus Charlo. Damn, Silent Milo. I'm sorry to hear that. I kind of wish you would have just spent the money on the super chat instead. Selfishly, that was a thought that crossed my head. He still sent $5. No, I'm grateful, but I'm saying, if you were gonna burn $1,500, you could have burned it here instead of losing.
That's a true boxing fan.
No, I feel for him. I'm so sorry, Silent Milo. Silent Milo always in the chat. Not in the chat tonight until now because he was
pulling his hair out.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Silent Milo. Who did you bet on? Did you bet on Gesta? I'm sorry to hear that. That sucks. Thank you for the super chat. You could take the $5 back if you'd like. You can resend that super chat because you've lost enough money tonight, my man.
There was one that was just like you take away something from.
Let's see.
Somebody hating on the redhead.
I'm not even a Canelo fan, but he's Gustavo. What's up, Gustavo Fontalba? He's going back and forth with GDDD about Canelo and Charlo. I like both. I like both guys in the chat. Both good dudes in my chat. Bro, betting on Gesta is insane. Hey, he tried, man. 1,500 on Gesta, bro, was wild. And Malcolm X Box hasn't even spoken the chat tonight. Malcolm X Box is always in the chat, and that got his attention. That made him chime in on the chat. Give him a refund, Giovanni. I think he can rescind it.
If you want to put the air on for him.
Yeah, I feel bad. The Silent Milo, let's all have a moment of silence. That sucks. I'm sorry, Silent Milo. I wish you should have came to the stream before the bet. I'd have told you Zepeda's definitely going to beat him. I got you next time. He rescinded it, I think. Yeah, go ahead. That's fine. Nope, it's still there. Either way, Silent Milo, we got love for you, brother. Sorry to hear that. Apparently, you make a lot of money though. To have $1,500 to burn on a Mercito Gesta fight, you sound like you're doing good in life, Silent Milo. Remember when Brian Valoria, Hester, Donaire were meant to be the next Pacquiao? I think only Hesta is still fighting, but he's done now. Says SQE McFadden. Brian Valoria was a badass. He was good. Brian Valoria was super explosive, 2-division champion, excellent fighter. The Hawaiian Punch. Yeah, Brian Valoria was nice with it. And then Nonito. Donaire is one of the best fighters of the last 20 years. Probably top 10 easily.
Pacquiao's just a freak.
Top 10 fighters of the last 20 years. Donaire's let me go through it in my head off top. Floyd, Manny, Dre, Canelo, Chocolatito, Tyson Fury. No, we're saying 20 years. That's a minute.
That's a minute, yeah.
There's some good fighters, man. Floyd, Manny, Andre, Crawford, Canelo, Chocolatito.
I'm gonna say Lomachenko because
Lomachenko. Hold off.
Yeah.
I like Lomachenko, but hold off. It's tough because 20 years ago, you can't include Oscar, you can't include Roy.
They're the end of their cycle.
Donaire. I'll put Donaire.
Yeah,
Donaire is in there. I'm up to like 7 guys. I'm not the biggest fan, but maybe Vladimir Klitsch. Oh, Juan Manuel Marquez. Juan Manuel Marquez has to be in the top.
Is he in the second?
Yeah, no,
cycle?
but he knocked out Pacquiao as late as
time.
2012. So Marquez is there. We got 2 more names left, chat. We got Donaire, Marquez, Pacquiao, Floyd, Canelo, Dre, Crawford, and Chocolatito.
I feel like it's an obvious one that I'm.
A couple of names that come to mind are Inoue, Fury, Usyk. I mean, I'm being recent here. I'm trying to. Who else, chat?
First class Hall of Famer Donaire is Roy.
Yeah, Donaire definitely first ballot Hall of Famer. Roy, I can't put Roy in there, Savant, because Roy was towards the end by 2003.
Usyk.
Inoue. I think Inoue is Lomachenko. My wife said Lomachenko. I don't know about Lomachenko though. Maybe if he would have gotten the decision against Haney that a lot of people thought he edged out, then probably, but he didn't quite get the nod. Fury, Inoue, Usyk. I know I'm forgetting some names.
Gosh, there's such obvious ones.
Let me look around my room.
I know, that's what I'm doing. I'm like...
Marquez. We got Marquez on there.
Yeah.
I like Winky Wright a lot.
That era,
Winky is up there. I don't know, chat.
That era was strange.
Yeah, Bud. We got Bud up there already. And Andre Ward. Wow, you diss Loma? No, Loma's great. He's going in the Hall of Fame. So it looks like we basically got to. I mean, if you really want, I liked Ivan Calderon, the strawweight back in the day. Idan Calderon, he was from Puerto Rico. He was excellent. Miguel Cotto's up there. Only 4-division champion from Puerto Rico. He's up there. So there you go.
Knockouts back. Knockouts.
Samantha Kaori TV. No, not Danny Garcia. I'm sorry. Danny was good, but
because I'm like, that era was so strange.
Inoue versus Casemiro. Let's go, says Samantha. Look, Samantha, I know you want Casemiro to win. That's your Filipino. Casemiro would not beat Inoue. That would be very ugly. He would get stopped. It would be brutal. He would get stopped. He opens up way too wide. He's way too wild with everything. Inoue is compact, accurate, explosive, fast. One-punch knockout artist. Inoue beats him. I'm sorry. Silent Milo, damn, with another. See, Silent Milo makes money. He clearly does not give a shit. Silent Milo hits us with another $20. Says, I had Zepeda by decision. He had Zepeda by decision.
Got it.
But I appreciate it. Brick masonry ain't a bad trade. No, you're a man's man. You're a real man, brother. Thank you. The real men like you in the military, building houses. You guys are the real guys that let guys like me, have fun for a living.
They're
So
the foundation.
you're the foundation. You know something about that, I'm sure. But you guys are the foundation. So that's awesome. That you work with your hands like a real man. Shout out to you, Silent Milo. Canelo Charlo, KO or what? I say no. I say now I know you're gonna hesitate to put money on a Mexican by decision after what happened tonight with Zepeda, but I'm gonna tell you to go back to that scary place and bet on the fighter from Mexico to win by decision. Charlo, look, Canelo's in his Pacquiao 30s phase. Pacquiao, after he knocked out De La Hoya, Cotto, and Hatton, he stopped knocking guys out for like 10 years. He would still hurt him. He would still dominate, beat him up, but not close the door because he's in his 30s. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have the energy. He gets you on the cliff. You're teetering, but he doesn't have the energy to close the door shut, push you down. Kind of like Pacquiao was in his 30s. Pacquiao would drop you, he'd hurt you, but he wouldn't finish you.
And
take a breath, because and I think that's the stage Canelo's at. He could still drop Charlo to the body with a left hook. I think he think there's a good chance he'll drop Charlo with a hook to the body. That's just what my mind's eye keeps seeing. But Charlo fights with a lot of pride. He's a proud champion in his own right. He hasn't been down since becoming champion. He got knocked down early in his career, but since he's become a champion, never been down. Fights with a lot of pride and bravado. And he has great conditioning. And he has great legs. So when he wants to survive, he could get on his bike. He could get on his bike and survive.
Yeah.
Not win the round, but survive. If Canelo gets him to a place, drops him to the body, and Charlo gets up and he needs to just make it out of the round, he has the legs to do it. Mm-hmm. So I think Canelo wins by decision. I think it's going to be 7-5, 8-4 kind of fight for Canelo. I think Charlo will have his spots. I think Canelo will get tired in this fight, and Charlo will take advantage of it, but not to the degree that he pulls off the upset. Wouldn't be surprised if Canelo scores a knockdown to the body at some point in the fight. I think Charlo could withstand that, get up, and make it to the final bell, keep fighting. So I got Canelo by decision. So, let's see. GDDD said, I must admit why nobody tries to attack Canelo's body. Well, he's an amazing counterpuncher. To touch the head, you could touch the head from long range. Outside of that jab, like Floyd had, that stab to the body, you got to get in close pretty much to get off to the body. Mm-hmm. So you're getting in. So to get to Canelo's body, you got to get to close to mid range where he's the shorter, more compact fighter. So you're fighting at a range that his body is more built for, right? And he's a counterpuncher. Mm-hmm. So when you reach down to the body at his range where he's more comfortable at,
he's like, "Oh, welcome."
He's gonna catch and shoot off the elbows. Mm-hmm. That's why it's you're better off keeping it long with him like Bivol and Mayweather on the end of the jab, using your feet. You don't want to exchange with him.
You want to toy with him.
You want to outbox him, box his ears off. Keep him at bay. You don't want to exchange with him. Triple G punches harder than everybody, and he didn't win that way. Nobody's hitting harder than Triple G was older. He was older. But Triple G, man, if you're not backing him up in the exchanges with Triple G's power, or even Bivol got his attention but never hurt him. This guy has a ridiculous chin. Yeah. So you got to be ready to outbox him. Mm-hmm. Professor X said, dude, she's hot. Thank you. Yeah. Appreciate that. Chichi Torres said 5'8", fighting at 68. Hard to reach down and hit that body. Charlo will not be hurt to the body, says GDDD. Maybe he won't, because he is in great shape, amazing conditioned athlete, a badass in his own right. But I think he's got a tall frame, tall target, and he gets hit up top plenty. By Castano, by Harrison, even when he knocked them out, they hit him up top plenty. He's gonna, when he feels that lead left hook of Canelo and those uppercuts of Canelo and that right-handed Canelo up top, he's gonna want to pick those hands up, and that's gonna set it up to the body. Mm-hmm. And he's gonna get hit with a left hook, whether he goes down on it or not. I just know Charlo, when he gets hit with the hook to the body, he's gonna go, "What the fuck is that?" Like, damn. damn, this dude could punch. I've never been hit like this before.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ice Baby, thank you, brother, thank you. So yeah, but guys, I think that's about it. Chat's in and out. Silent Milo, I feel for you, brother. Thank you for the super chat, man, especially on a night where you lost a lot of bread. But shout out to you, man. Very, very kind of you. We appreciate it for sure. Always happy to have you in the chat. Happy to have everybody in the chat. So chat, before we get out of here, if there's anything, one more thing you want to throw my way, otherwise me and Samantha, you getting out of here? I'll see you downstairs. I'll be downstairs in a minute. It's just me now. All right, chat, fire one more off and we'll call it a night. Then I'm going to go hang out with wifey and eat. I'm hungry. You guys are awesome, though. So, I will refresh the chat and see if you lovely folks got anything left for me. And then we'll call it a night. Sam speaks Spanish? I got you. I will get her back in here. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Sammy, they just want to hear you speak Spanish before we sign off. So, when you're ready. All right. She's grabbing something downstairs. We will finish with the outro in Spanish tonight. I will say things that she will translate in Spanish to you, chat. Shakur versus Zepeda. Shakur all day. Zepeda has no defense. He will get countered and outboxed. You know, Zepeda's pretty good. I mean, he's good. He's good. Very fan-friendly style. Great combination puncher if he pins you on the rope. He did a beautiful job with his jab to the body to keep Gesta on the ropes, and then that set up all those combinations. He's a good fighter, but Shakur is probably one of the best fighters in the world, pound for pound. So there's levels there between good and one of the very best in boxing. So I think Shakur definitely would beat him. Zepeda versus Murataya. It's a good fight. I would favor Murataya, but Murataya is going to get pushed pace-wise to be uncomfortable. Murataya is a more thinking man's fighter than Zepeda. He's much less relentless, but he's more compact and punches a little harder, I think, punch for punch. So Murataya, but he'd have to work at an uncomfortable pace he doesn't normally fight at. Let's see. Zepeda versus Cruz. I favored Cruz. Cruz is more compact puncher, a little bit more snap on his shots. And Zepeda wants to exchange. And I'll take the guy with the shorter, more compact, explosive shots in the exchanges, who covers up a little bit better in the high guard. Zelenoff versus Crawford. Are we talking 2012, 2013 prime Charlie Zelenoff before Wilder kind of took his prime a little bit? Because I think Charlie Zelenoff before that Wilder fight was like 472-0. He held the record for PSI. I don't know if Crawford could beat that Zelenoff. Now, definitely Terrence Crawford beats Charlie Zelenoff, but yeah. RJ asks, who won Willie Zepeda versus Mercito Gesta? Zepeda destroyed, hit him with about 240 punches through 5.5 rounds. He was averaging about 50 landed punches a round. There's fighters like Gervonta Davis doesn't even throw 50 punches a round. Doesn't throw 50 punches a round. Zepeda was landing 50 punches a round against Gesta. So it was all Willie Zepeda tonight. Ice Baby said, I'm going to keep it real. I think you will do well calling fights for ESPN. I think I could do it too, but we'll see. GDDD, is there... I'm here. I haven't heard anything about rehydration, nothing for the Canelo... no rematch clause, no rehydration, nothing. As far as I know, it's just a straight-up fight. All right, we are going to sign off in Espanol tonight, I think. Sammy, I hope. Yes. I will say goodbye to them, and you will translate in Spanish.
Okay.
Right. Okay, here we go. I'll give the mic to Samantha.
I don't know where. Okay.
So in conclusion, chat.
So para acabar.
Chat.
Entonces para...
I would like to thank all of you, all nearly 200 of you, for joining me and Samantha tonight.
Me gustaría dar las gracias para todos los 200 de ustedes por estar con nosotros en esta noche.
Willie Zepeda won tonight. He was dominant. He landed 50 punches around.
Willie Zepeda ganó ahora, puso como 50 puños cada ronda.
He did that.
She's busy. Él hizo eso. Why we gotta do this?
Zepeda, despite his offensive onslaught, does not have a great defense. No, go ahead.
I'm getting all sweaty. Zepeda, what?
Despite his offensive onslaught, didn't have a great defense.
Zepeda.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm like defensive. Oh God, I'm like.
You can do it.
Zepeda, despite his offensive onslaught, what?
His offense was really good, but his defense is not very good.
Wait, I gotta put one of those like translators on the spot. Zepeda no tuvo buena defensa.
Right.
That's it. We'll say that.
But he won, and since he won, Viva Mexico, cabrones.
Pero él ganó, y porque él ganó, Viva México, cabrones.
Okay, good night, and God bless all of you.
Buenas noches, y que Dios los bendiga a todos.
All right, much love, chat. Have a good one. Sammy, you got a shadow box to outro us out. I'm just kidding. All right, I will.
You are the star here.
All right. Good night, everybody. Have a good one. Thank you, all the hardcore boxing fans, for tuning into this one. You guys are awesome. Much love from me and my wife, Sammy. Thank